thing is, I do believe there was talk about these things. I believe if we study history, the Confederates were able to shoot pterodactyls, back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online.
Google it
They
yourself.
spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out, and it's got a huge winglet. It was a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so,
what I'm saying is Jesus wrote a dinosaur to work. That's history. It's in the Bible. How to Train Your Dragon.
Historical facts.
And if you don't believe it, do your own research. Pull up Google. You'll find the picture, I promise.
Oh my God.
Thank you, John Gleason, Godless engineer, for gifting me this beautiful moment. Y'all remember when they tried to cancel Steven Spielberg for posing with an animatronic triceratops animal rights activist?
Back it up.
Hit it from the back.
Cloaca. Historical facts.
Eat my ass, BP. You're down here bailing on the rest of us because you don't want to process your grief and shame like a normal person by drinking and mistreating strangers.
No, Rick. It is you who must nibble my cloaca, or bird asshole.
Everyone knows what a cloaca is.
back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online. They spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out, and this has got a huge winglet. It's a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so,
Paul Bunyan was sharing some Funyuns with his pet velociraptor.
Whoa.
Oh, you thought it was an ox? Roll back the clock. Let me knock the socks off. Historical facts.
I didn't cut out. You heard me. Are you a pervert or something? Okay.
What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? So today, got a special guest with me, Jimmy. Thank you so much,
What's
Jimmy.
up, heathens?
How y'all doing?
Oh no, why do I hear it twice?
Today, got a special guest with me, Jimmy. Thank you so much,
What's
Jimmy.
up, heathens?
For
Do you
how
hear
y'all
it?
doing?
Oh no, why do I hear it
So
twice?
Today, got a special guest.
Is it
Jimmy.
looping?
Thank you so much. I think so. It's definitely on your end. I muted you, and
Is it? Let me see. Let me see if it's on
I
here.
think so.
It might be done. It might no longer be looping.
It doesn't. I don't hear it looping anymore.
That's good. I don't know why it was coming through that way into your thing too.
Yeah.
No.
You gotta love technical difficulties with any YouTuber.
That's what I'm
yeah.
Rash incompetence might be fairer, but from me, not from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome, heathens. Thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to be going over a Girl Defined video. Today's a really special stream because I got Jimmy Snow here with me. Thank you so much, Jimmy, not only for shuffling all of your nearly 200 viewers over to this channel earlier, but also for joining me today to discuss Girl Defined. Now, I've done a few Girl Defined videos in the past, but you seem to have sort of a you've done a lot more than I have about Girl Defined. One or two.
Yeah. Sure, that's all you'd find. Yeah, I mean, it was a big part of why my channel took off initially. Ironically, I recently made a video saying I'm pretty much done with their normal content for sure, and it sort of posited the idea that I might not make any more Girl Defined videos going forward, which I actually thought might even turn into like a bunch of people mass unsubscribing, but no one really gave a shit. They were like, yeah, we're pretty ready for that. But then as soon as I do that, they start coming out with new content like this, where I'm like, oh, that I just retired. How dare you?
Yeah, and I mean, they're like, apparently they live in San Antonio. That's something that they say in the video. So yeah. I mean, they're relatively, they're a lot closer to you than I am close to you, I guess.
We're neighbors practically.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they never make their way over to Austin. I think they probably think that is devil's country.
Devil's country, yeah, far too liberal for them, as we'll see in the video. So just to let everybody know, if you're new here, newly subscribed, or just come over from Jimmy's channel, here on Godless Engineer, we donate the proceeds that we make off this channel to a charity each month. Last month we selected the Save the Children charity. It's one of the few children's charities that we can actually verify that is a good charity. So we're going to be donating to them. We ended up being able to donate about $400 this month to Save the Children. So if you do a super chat or you join the Skeptic Mafia tonight, it's going to be going towards the September charity, which we haven't picked out yet, but we will be letting everybody know what charity that we're going to be sending money to. In the past, we've donated to stuff like the Michael J. Fox Foundation. We've donated to the Trevor Project, the LGBT or the Transgender Law Center is another one that we've donated to in the past. So, I mean, we've done a lot of great charitable work, charitable donations and stuff like that. So if you do a super chat, you'll be helping us donate to a great charity. And so normally for the live stream show on my channel, I have like a whole thing that I do. I've got a whole structure to it, but we're going to forego that tonight. We're going to get right on into the video. Now,
what kind of
Jimmy,
structure is being forgone? You don't got to pull out anything fancy for me.
Well, no. So for anybody that doesn't know, generally I'll start off with some Today I Learns. And then I've also got some comments that I'll pick out usually, and I'll cover it, shitty comments. And then we've got a section called Shitty Ass Science, Ask Science, where I've got Brocephus that comes on and he like tells people how shit works, but he does very wrong. And then we get into the video. So that normal, like that's a full show, but today, like the video is already, I was able to cut out a couple minutes, but that's pretty much about it. Like
pretty long.
Yeah, they shill out their Patreon. I'm like, fuck it, I don't want that.
That's all of their videos now. So almost every video they do now is made to direct you either to their Patreon, their podcast, or when they are getting closer to time to do it, when they're doing their conferences. Basically, every episode is just meant it's all, and it's not, it's hard as a YouTuber to be like, obviously I take sponsorships. I do have a Patreon and stuff too, but it's the main reason for any video of mine is whatever the topic of the video is. Theirs is clearly it's just commercials for them now. There's a spider on a thread sort of drifting in front of the camera, but I don't think it's in focus, and it's really distracting. But it's like 5-6 feet away. I can't reach it.
Is that an ooh shiny moment right there?
Yeah. Well, it's alive and moving. It's more than shiny. It's a spider. We've evolved to be very aware of spiders in our vision.
I mean, yeah, I notice when there's a spider near me.
Yeah.
But we do have a sorry to interrupt, but we do have a super chat from the Gay Agenda. I'm so glad to be formally paid off by the Gay Agenda.
Yeah,
by the
formally,
way.
you're a part of the Gay Agenda now.
Nice. I love that. Anyways, the Gay Agenda says hello all you lovely guys, gals, and non-binary pals. So thank you, Gay Agenda, for that. So yeah, it seemed like it was just like I was able to pick up on that it was pretty much just a glorified advertisement for their own stuff.
Yeah.
And but I was that only accounted for 2 minutes, like them actually trying to push people towards things was only about 2 minutes of the whole video. The rest of it though is just like I don't know. I know over on your stream you were talking about how the video just pissed you off, and I think everybody will understand why, because I don't think most people are hip to putting themselves through watching that kind of shit.
Bethany clearly hates anything any person. Bethany seems to hate trans people, and you're not going to see a lot of understanding that actually drag queens and trans people are different completely different categories. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird shit.
Yeah, that you'll notice talking to the people in the chat and watching in general, you'll notice that they immediately connect like drag queens with transgender people. So you just that's what y'all are in for. So I hope that you're prepared.
Hell yeah.
Oh wait, shit. There we go. I got a Stream Deck that has shit programmed here, and so just needed to get it over there. Anyways, all right. So here's the video for tonight. Like I said, if you're just be mindful of anything that may be triggering to you, how they talk about trans people or anything like that. Just be mindful of that. So, all right, you ready to hit it, Jimmy?
Fuck yeah.
Do it.
Also, please don't call me Jimmy anymore. As you can see, I am Xander Crookshanks.
Xander Crookshanks.
Thank you.
I love the use of the X instead of the Z.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I actually used that name yesterday when a bot texted me and was trying to like, hey, they pretended to have the wrong number and then started like trying to chat with me. And it turned out to be a sex bot. Well, it probably wasn't a bot, but person trying to put, anyway, yesterday that happened and they were like, what's your name, handsome? And I said, Xander Crookshanks. So that's who I am now. Please. Please stop that.
Xander Crookshanks. I love it. Okay.
Yes.
All right, Xander. Let's take a look and see what they have to say.
We need to talk about this. This is something we've been wanting to talk about for a while. Drag queens. And the fact that it has become so mainstream, it is so popular. It is something that we're told children should be exposed to. It will give them sexual diversity, opportunity. Their young minds are so moldable and we want to shape them in the right way. In fact, something happened recently in our own backyard, not literally, but in Texas. I whacked myself in the face. Okay.
Are we waiting for specific, are the clips set in a way where we should wait for the clip to finish and then come in when we have
no. You just interrupt when you have some shit
do
to
my
talk
thing
about.
So one thing that is a huge misconception that people like this, and they basically I believe they just said is this idea that it's a brand new thing. It's not even fucking close to new, and it has been entertainment forever. It's been a source of entertainment forever. You can fucking read about Old West and even Mormon pioneers who had cross-dressing entertainers. Famously, Brigham Young, the second president of the Mormon Church, had a son who that was the son's thing, was at church functions and shit, would cross-dress, would drag queen it up. And it was all a source of entertainment for a long time as far as that specific form of cross-dressing or drag or whatever people like. Now, there are also people who don't do it with an entertainment angle, just do it because they like it. That's also not new. That also was happening like fucking in the Old West, and people just left it alone. It's very weird that Old West cowboys that were ready to kill you for anything, everybody in the Old West was just angry and shooting each other all the time, and that's fact, and that's a history, and no historian will tell me I'm at all wrong. I might be exaggerating, but there were lots of examples of people who just cross-dressed back then, and everybody was like, yeah, that's just kind of Tim. That's just
Tim.
Yeah, I don't get it, but fucking like he goes to work every day, does his job well, he's great in the mines, and then he puts on a dress, so fucking let him. It's not new, and yeah, fucking it has existed for entertainment for a long time.
Yeah, it definitely has. I mean, I remember as a kid, I saw I didn't see the movie, but it's that what is it? There's a movie with Wesley Snipes in it, and No, it was
it's the only Wesley Snipes movie I know.
Right. Well, no, there's a Wesley Snipes movie where he plays he's a drag queen in it.
Yeah.
It's a really long name. Let's see, Wesley Snipes Tu Wong Fu, thanks for nothing, Julie Newmar. Oh, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar, is what it's called. And it was a movie about drag queens and everything. And I mean, being in the South and how the past was. I mean, I was brought up in an era where, it wasn't really. I mean, it wasn't looked up to or anything like that, but it was definitely looked, I guess, down upon, like where I grew up at. But I never had any kind of ill will towards anybody like that did that. That's always been a foreign concept to me. Just like, thinking that it's weird for, interracial marriages. Like I never saw that as weird, but like people around me thought it was weird. And I was like, is there something wrong with me? And obviously not. There's nothing wrong with me.
That was one growing up that I also found to be strange. Man, my focus isn't holding. I was thinking I could do the rest of the episode like this, but it's
probably the spider there, Jimmy. Now the member chats apparently don't come through on the StreamYard thing where I can like star them for later. But Tomato Priestess Zumi says, now I don't know if McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins, and I'm definitely not saying he is, but just saying.
By the way, I actually think so. We were really careful with that whole thing to never give him fodder to sue. Basically.
Yeah.
But since then, having learned about slap suits and things, mostly from episodes of John Oliver, I'm actually pretty confident we could have said he's sexually I'm trying to figure out the best angle here. I've got presets. I'm pretty sure we actually could have said Tommy McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. We were really cautious about it and like tried to make sure that we didn't get in trouble and shit, but I actually think we would have been fine. I kind of wish we had done it now. So.
No, I definitely I like how it was. Like I like how it's like I'm not saying I'm just saying we don't know. Like that was really I like that really appealed to me.
Yeah.
No, some super chats that we got going on here. Let me actually switch back right over here. Daniel M. David says hi. Tell David I said hi, and I hope that he gets to feeling better there, Daniel. So let him know that. And then we've got Heather Brown who says Z is always Pumpkin King to me. Don't tell McMurtry.
Well, I'm supposed to be the Pumpkin King. That's so if you really want to go with what the subliminal idea is, the joke is kind of like, geez, stop flirting with me, Tommy. And he made me Mr. Pumpkin and sexually attracted to pumpkins. Like that's if you really want to get into subtext. The idea was this was his way of trying to fuck me, because I would say things like, just ask me for my number, bro. But he's not my type.
Yeah. And then we've also had Dr. Osiris. He re-upped on his on their YouTube membership, part of the Skeptic Mafia. So thank you so much for that, Doctor. Okay. Oh shit. And then we got Elizabeth Richardson. Allegedly is a great word to cover your ass. I still can't swear in super chats.
That is a common misconception. In journalism, there is ways you use allegedly and alleged. However, as far as defamation goes, the existence of the phrase allegedly, if it's clear that there is serious intent to spread something, this is actually something I had to learn about last year for other reasons. It doesn't protect shit with that, because there are people who try to manipulatively use it to get around it. And if you can demonstrate that that is likely the intent, it doesn't matter that you use the phrase allegedly. So mostly telling you that not to be like correcting somebody who's given money to John and charity here, but mostly sharing that so you don't accidentally get sued if you decided you wanted to try that.
Okay. I usually try to be very specific in what I say whenever it comes to that kind of stuff. So
Tom McMurtry loves to fuck pumpkins. You heard it on this channel.
I will champion that all the way. Anyways, all right, let's get back to their video real quick.
Make sure I have
We're from San Antonio, so not too far away, Dallas, Texas. This was in the news a lot, so you probably heard about it, but there was a big drag show, and it was literally titled Drag the Kids to Pride, a family-friendly drag show. That's how it was advertised, and basically they were saying this is the ultimate family-friendly drag show. Come, bring your family, bring your little kids. We're going to have drag performers in a nightclub, by the way. There's going to be dancing, and they even said, in fact, we're going to have 5 spots open for kids to join the stage to dance with the drag performers, and it's going to be this wonderful family-friendly night. Let's go. And in fact, when I saw some...
I actually like the in a nightclub, by the way, sort of like suggesting like in a place that's already known for immorality, when it's like, that if a thing isn't actively going on when you're in that room, you aren't automatically doing it. So even if it was in a strip club, if nobody's stripping, then it's not a stripping event. And every time you walk into your parents' bedroom, you're not watching them fuck because they've fucked in there before. Just those times you've accidentally walked in at the wrong time.
Yeah. I've never had that particular experience, but I'm sure plenty of people have.
You seem like you've never had that experience. And by that, I mean well-adjusted.
Well-adjusted. So it's kind of like a compliment, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was a compliment. It was.
But no, yeah, I think that it's rather ridiculous for them to try to paint this in the worst light possible, coming from their very, I guess, I want to say uptight, but like high and mighty, sort of like they're on a high horse about, what event or what things you should take your children to, kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't think that like a nightclub, has the only use of like, nightclub things. I mean, I think that you can hold different events there. I mean, I don't see why that has to be like a one use kind of place. That seems like silly. Like
it's a place with a stage and seating, Yeah. Look, we film porn in my house, but when we're not, it's the guest bedroom. None of that's true. I don't film porn and I also don't have guests. So I made the whole thing up. But it hypothetically works as a scenario.
Mm-hmm. It does. All right. Let's say they got a very specific complaint coming up here.
I don't have friends or sex is what I'm saying.
I gotcha.
If I'm saying anything,
I'm your friend. What are you talking about?
Well, you're not here and you're certainly not fucking me. So are you?
All right. They got a specific complaint about something. I'm sure you'll have something to say about, or at least I will.
Articles and some videos about this event, there was a huge neon sign in the background that literally said, it's not going to lick itself. We don't need to give you any more, information about that details.
There are no more details about it. Like when they say we don't have to give you more details, that's all the sign said. And by the way, it advertised an ice cream company. There weren't, yes, it's clearly innuendo, which is always around kids all the fucking time. And it's dependent on kids probably not getting it. Do you remember the old fucking Rugrats movie where fucking whatever Angelica's mom was? She's like they're talking about the baby that's coming, and they're like, oh, it's going to be a boy. Remember, born under Venus, look for and then she gets a call and she doesn't finish the sentence. I didn't get that joke as a kid at all. I was like, look for a what? I don't get it. No one would explain it to me. Or the other day, I was actually remembering that when I was like 12, I think I must have been like somewhere between 9 and 12 years old. We were watching an episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway, which was one of the things my family would do together. And they had scenes from a hat. And one of the scenes was things you can say to your dog, but not your wife. And either Colin or Ryan goes over and says, come. And I didn't get it. I thought they meant you can't just tell your wife, like, come here, like you would a dog, like that you can't command your wife to come to you. Now I know that it means, come. I don't know what else. It means come. Fucking like innuendo. Sure, it's innuendo. If there was something graphic about it, like if it was in a strip club and you're having kids there, sure, cover up the posters with the tits on them and shit. But it literally was the words, it's not going to lick itself. And they're like, I will not tell you any more details. Like, what more details are you fucking talking about? Are you not going to explain the innuendo? Because I don't think the two of you could do it without cracking up, you fucking adult children.
Well, I kind of like how as soon as she mentioned it's not going to lick itself, I don't know who it is on the left, but it almost seemed like she gagged a little bit, and she got taken aback by oh my god, licking itself. Like, I don't know Bethany. I don't know like how they considered it, because like when I typed that phrase into Google and you look for it, you come up with a couple things. One is fellatio done on a woman, but there was also an equal number of like licking candy canes.
Yeah.
And so like it was a joke about that. And so I don't know if maybe they took it as like only the fellatio part or what.
I had heard from somebody who's been to the club that it's a sign advertising an ice cream company, but
is it?
Mind me, I don't fucking know. But
I mean, it would make sense for an ice cream like company.
Yeah. What do they think happens in this nightclub? They're just throwing blowjobs around at a fucking nightclub? No, you have to go lock yourself in a bathroom for that. And at some point, somebody knocks on the door and is like, "Hey, the security, we saw two of you go in there." And we're like, "Yeah, but are you really gonna kill our good time?" And they're like, "You got 3 more minutes." Like, that's if the bouncer's cool. Anyway, not an experience I've ever had, despite how specific that was. That's how it goes.
I believe him.
Casey doesn't believe you, by the way.
I don't. I feel like I have a lying voice. People know when I'm lying.
Well, so I feel like most Christians, like conservative, not like most conservative Christians, like the Girl Defined Girls are, I feel like what they think like a drag show or any LGBTQ like event is about like sex or performing sex or teaching kids how to perform sexual activities or something like that. Like, they have it in their mind that these people are doing lewd things either in front of or to children is what it seems to me like, what it seems to be for me whenever I encounter this. So it's it's no surprise that Bethany was at least it looked like she kind of choked on some vomit there.
Yeah, I mean, they are intellectually, when it comes to matters of like sexuality, they are intellectually stunted into childhood. And fucking live your life, but you guys are missing out. I almost want to like send an apology letter to her husband. You do not know what you're missing out. Meet me at this nightclub. The bouncer's cool.
Yeah.
You can probably guess what that means in a nightclub like this. And so here we have this event, and it's being applauded by so many in society, saying this is awesome. These pictures of these kids, tipping these dancers, who, by the way, are drag queens. So men dressed as very provocative, very, very sexually explicit women in their costumes, in their lingerie-like costumes, dancing before children, and children are tipping them. Like, it's so perverted. It's so disgusting. It's so shocking that parents would think this is a healthy, mentally, healthy thing to bring their kids to. And so we just want to talk about it because
Kristen sounds like the guy who is watching porn to confirm how disgusted he is with, oh my God. Oh, this is so disgusting, but I have to keep watching. That's a lot of details. You really noticed a lot there, Kristen. By the way, I don't actually think she's correct. They weren't. While you can say every element of drag, or often elements of drag, have things where it's like they're going to put in giant fake tits and giant fake butts and stuff like that. I don't recall seeing anything that would have seemed remotely more explicit than lots of just average society deals.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see. I've actually, let me pull up. Keep in mind, okay, how she described this drag show. Okay.
Yeah.
She described it as men dressed sexually, like sexually provocative women, and the kids were like, I guess they envision kids like stuffing money in the G strings of these
while they're twerking.
While they're twerking or something. Let me see. I need to add an overlay. Okay.
Yeah, it actually, one of the things that's interesting about stories like this is you can always tell that they don't actually have much of a point when the sign on the wall is the one they always make the biggest point about. It's like, if something was really explicitly horrible, would you do anything more than just mention the sign on the wall?
No, probably not.
There's a sign on the wall where girl defined doesn't know what it means.
Okay. Here's the drag show that they're talking about.
Well, I can see that slut's shoulders.
And there's I mean, I just had to Google for a second. There's a girl and she's got like a dollar bill holding out, and there's somebody walking in a dress.
Yeah. This is girl defined. Those are straight whore shoulders in the girl defined world.
Exactly. I mean, and all of the pictures are like this. Let's say maybe this one right here is the one they're more specifically talking about.
That is a pretty dress.
Share went away. Sorry about that.
Someone in the chat suggested that you would be good for Jimmy's co-host slot.
Apparently, people are suggesting in the chat that you would be good for the or I would be good for your co-host.
How many miles between us?
A lot.
There's a slight problem. Neither of us are willing to move.
Right. Okay. So maybe this is more or less what they're talking about, but I mean, even still, like that's not. I mean, that's not like any more sexually provocative than what some people wear on the street now.
Certainly not. Yeah. First of all, we have entered the summer of sheer white tank tops that don't completely go over the stomach and braless where you can see the nipple through the shirt. I am here for it. Love it. That's what regular society's just doing out on the road. These people are fully covered and can't slip a nip because they are quite glued together to sell the illusion. What is your actual fucking problem? The person on the right looks like a goddamn Spice Girl.
Yeah, I mean, I like if you think about the pictures that we've seen right here versus their description of it. I mean, you would like their description of it. You would think that these kids are getting like step by step instructions on how to blow a dick.
Shorty had the apple bottom jeans. You would think that song was playing. And I love how the like dollar bill thing is literally handing dollars to you. Like fucking you goddamn sacks of shit.
Yeah. Casey said it's not like they're putting them in their ass cracks.
Yeah. Goddamn. Tell me you've only ever had missionary sex without telling me you've only ever had missionary sex. Girl defined. One time we did it without
as we look at God's design for the
so sorry about that.
I was making the same joke I've made 100 times on my own channel.
Okay.
It's all good. No one missed anything.
Right. But so that's what they're talking about here, just so that everybody's fully informed about how ridiculous like their complaints are, or at least their ideas about what this drag show was. So now that we know, we're all fully informed about it, let's see what else they got to say.
Man and the woman, drag queens, and the celebration of this sort of entertainment is such a mockery on God's design for womanhood.
Oh yeah, and to
okay, I want to. They harp on this whole God's design thing, and God didn't design shit. And I mean, obviously, most people that are here are going to agree that God didn't design shit. But like, if God were to have designed something, considering the history of cross-dressing and all this other stuff, kind of seems like God created some people to like to dress up, in clothes that are not necessarily indicative of what people traditionally consider males and females to wear or whatever. I mean, I hate the whole idea that there's this segregation of what's okay for a man and a woman to wear in general, but for them to act like this is like a mockery of God's design, it's like, I don't think I don't think so.
Yeah, there's an irony where they're sitting here making videos saying God's design, where if you actually want to go with the biblical God, I feel like you'd be like, yo, I gave way more instructions on how you as women should shut the fuck up and stay in your lane than I ever gave instructions on you telling men how they can have fun, which, by the way, is technically what this is. You're like the Bible would be completely against women telling men they're not allowed to do shit in general. Women aren't allowed to talk. You're not allowed to fucking like preach or any of that shit, according to. So as far as God's design goes, let's not pretend you actually give a shit about it, because you seem to forget about the ones that allow you to have a ministry in the first place. Which, by the way, I'm supportive of the equality. I'm only here to report for God.
Sorry. Apparently, I think maybe my volume's a little too low, which is something that I can change.
I mean, I got a thing here. I could lower mine too, technically, but I don't know whether or not there's an auto equalizer compressor deal in that wouldn't change it. I don't know.
Let me see. Test.
I could whisper like a sweet little guy.
Okay. I think that sounds better. Sorry, I forgot that I had turned it down because I did some recording stuff and like stuff got fucked up. Anyways, okay. Now that that's fixed.
I'm Xander Crookshanks.
All right. So God's design is shit and everything like that. I guess let's continue.
I just want to thank the person who made that request, who called me Xander.
Yeah.
I think I don't know whether it's you're embracing the joke I made earlier, or if you just have no idea who I am. I like you either way. Honestly, both of those would be great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Richardson said, do girl define not celebrate Halloween? I'm guessing that's sinful too. I just wanted to address that really quick because they have put out their ideas about Halloween. I've actually got a video on my channel about that. So
yeah,
always be selling.
Kristen is fine with like people having not too demonic of a celebration where it's like fall festival celebration, more directed and like almost like a Halloween light, but that it shouldn't be take away from glorifying God. Bethany acts supportive of that, but you can tell from her answers that she's just anti the whole thing.
Right. So now we are getting a lot of super chats in, and I just wanted to let you guys know that I do plan on going over super chats, but we're probably going to wait until closer to the end of the stream today to cover the super chat. So I really appreciate everybody sending in your super chats. If you feel so inclined, please continue to do so, but we will be covering them when it gets closer to the end.
I only got one super chat on mine.
Oh.
What the hell, you guys? I'm not jealous. I don't have bills.
You don't have bills?
Say like, oh, but we need to be supporting this. Like, no, we are not going to give into the delusion. This is not going to help all of the major mental breakdowns that are going on in our world and suicide. Like, this is not helping it by affirming that, oh yes, one, men can be women, or two, men should dress up like women and, put on fake breasts that are way oversized, massive rears, like wear very skimpy clothing and dance around and twerk and do all this stuff. Like,
yeah, once again, repainting not a totally honest image there, are they?
Right. If you'll recall, like I didn't see like massively oversized breasts or anything like that in the images that we saw. Didn't see anybody twerking at all. I mean, it amazes me how they're painting this entire situation here.
Yeah, which there's also something funny about her saying this isn't going to help people with their mental breakdowns, and this isn't going to help with all the suicides, when it's literally like you're literally just talking out of your ass right now, because absolutely it's been demonstrated that the number one way to help people who are struggling with gender dysphoria, who are struggling with identity acceptance, is literally to socially accept them, for them to find acceptance of their identity and their persona. And that's why a lot of people transition to different levels in different ways. And so literally accepting people as they are, whether that is a trans person, whether that is a person who finds joy as a drag queen, that kind of affirmation is literally the opposite of what she said is true. This isn't going to help with, except for that all the data says it fucking will. What the fuck are you talking about? We're not going to, and then she even acknowledges that it's done cartoony on purpose. The giant breasts and the way oversized butts, like it is a performance. It's for a bit of fun. Fucking Christ.
Right. And I really hate how it seems like for them, the only way for somebody to be truly happy or to truly overcome those issues, mentioned like depression or suicide or anything like that, is that they have to force themselves to conform to traditional gender roles.
Yeah.
Like their particular idea of what traditional gender roles was.
Exactly.
I mean, in the Bible, the entire Israelite society, like everything in the Bible is based on the sexual slavery of women. I mean, at every single point where they highlighted a patriarch, the wife or wives that he had were not wives of their own volition. They were either bought or maybe they were married, but like even King David, he sent off some poor schmuck to get killed in war just so that he could steal his wife. And it's not like he ever considered whether or not his wife, I can't remember what her name was right now. Was it which one? David's wife that bore somebody, Solomon, maybe. I can't remember. The point is that King David wanted her, Bathsheba. King David wanted her, and so he took her. And then he tried to do some kind of convoluted thing with the husband, and then just ended up having him being killed in war. But the point is that she didn't have a choice.
Send him to the front lines.
Yeah, exactly. And so all throughout the Bible, if you want to talk about traditional gender roles, the traditional gender role for women was to just be owned by men, to and at other times be servants of man, and those servants were often used as incubation, machines, I guess.
Can we all appreciate the still that you're on though? Look at this. I feel like this just tells the whole story almost by itself about trans panic, queer panic, drag panic. I just feel like this image is enough.
Yeah. It's really hard to find any like still shot where one of them isn't making just a horrible face. Like
somebody asked if they're going to kiss or if this is the wrong channel. John and I are not physically close to each other.
But when they are,
I'll kiss anybody. Guys, I am starved for affection. Are you kidding me? Spit in my mouth. Goddamn.
All right. Let's see what
I haven't had so much as a handshake in like 4 months. Shit.
I feel bad for you, Jimmy. I'd shake your hand.
I'd probably come.
Hey, okay. So we do have an extra room if you ever make your way to Satan's asshole.
Yeah, if I ever want to go to Alabama, I'll let you know. But I also have a guest room. We don't film porn in there.
Oh, okay, that's good to hear. We don't have to break out the black light in there, do we?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Once I get the side business up. But then at the same time, it's like it's a porn studio. You just you accept that you're going to be sleeping in the juice. Porn. It has the juice. Only some people will get that.
This is insane. No wonder we have problems. So someone said, following up on that.
Okay, so this is the part where I did have to make a cut because they were shilling all their stuff, and then still lingering on the screen is like their Patreon. So I'm just like, I'll throw up a Skeptic Mafia thing. So go to joinskepticmafia.com and you too can become part of the Skeptic Mafia.
Fuck yeah.
Drag event that happened in Dallas, Texas, someone literally said, because of course there was pushback. Thankfully, hallelujah, there are still people out there who are pushing back and saying, I don't think this is healthy for kids. I don't think this is a really good family event. Maybe try the zoo. Maybe try a museum. Like, And so someone.
The zoo? Sorry. The zoo? Those promiscuous, slutty ass monkeys at the zoo? Do you know how many kids I've heard ask for explanations to why is the rhino doing that to the other rhino at the fucking zoo? That's the place you want to go to avoid talks about sex. And by the way, some of the zoo goats are boy goats that fuck other boy goats. So good luck with that one, mom and dad. The zoo.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nasty shit that animals will do at the zoo. I mean, I remember seeing a video somewhere, either on Twitter or Reddit or something, where there was an elephant that just had its trunk like almost hilt deep in another elephant's asshole, and then started like eating shit out of the asshole of the one elephant. Yeah, I mean, how are you gonna explain that to your kid? It's like, well, son.
I'd take the opportunity to make it a metaphor for capitalism.
A metaphor for capitalism? How would you do that?
First of all, the elephant is the signal of the Republican Party. The symbol, not signal. Let's start there.
Sorry, my son giggled a lot. Hear me describe the elephant.
Sometimes when you have a job, it feels like you're eating another elephant shit. I don't know. There's something there. Shit rolls downhill right into your elephant mouth.
No, yeah, totally. I mean, I totally get that metaphor now.
Yeah, it's fine. You can just do the work, John. You'll get there. Fucking slutty ass monkeys. The zoo.
Slutty ass monkeys.
The fucking zoo. I'm ready for more.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, okay.
I had to switch to my speakers real quick.
No worries.
All right.
But I do hear myself.
Huh?
Oh, it might have stopped. Yep. No, sometimes. Yep. I hear me. Ugh, hate it.
All right. How's that?
It's that I hate my own voice, not literally the delay thing, but yeah, we're good now, I think.
Okay. All right, let's continue.
Came out and said, anyone who thinks drag isn't for children is wrong. Drag is expression, and children are such judgment-free beings that they don't really care what you're wearing, just what you're performing. Oh, really? Yes, they are in many ways judgment-free beings. It's because they don't have judgment. They're children. Like in so many ways, their mind is being formed. Their worldview is being formed. What they think about sexuality, what they think about everything is being formed. It's like
grow up being accepting of other people. What if we normalize normal shit? Will somebody think of the children? You guys just want kids to grow up not being bigots? It's funny because they're basically acknowledging that bigotry is learned. Racism is learned. Homophobia is learned. Transphobia is learned. And they're sitting here going like, let's learn them. Let's learn them those things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's almost like they're a little jealous that other people are pulling their own personal, game there, because the religious people like these two, they like to catch them young, like catch your kids young and teach them these gender roles, teach them what it means to be, a godly man or woman.
Mold them and groom them.
And it's really weird that they're getting angry over teaching kids that it's completely okay.
Somebody had said that it's common to hate your own voice, and it could be because our voice sounds different to us. I don't like my voice better, the one I hear through my bones that add the baritone. It's all awful to me. It's just that I enjoy saying things. I don't enjoy the voice itself. Whenever people say I enjoy the sound of my own voice, it is specifically wrong.
Yeah,
I enjoy being listened to, not the sound of my own voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially they seem to be more mad at the fact that people are teaching kids to be accepting of others, from a young age, and trying to erase this stigma that's around people that are different. It's almost like, you've got to teach kids to, not make fun of these kids necessarily, or make fun of people that are different than you, but just not be accepting of those people, like, totally other those people, is what it kind of comes off to me as.
I'm sitting here like, Bethany and Kristen, I have bad news for you. One day your sons are going to put a pillow in their shirt and go, look, I have boobies, and they'll be okay. I just imagine them just screaming like, no, you don't have boobies. They're going to not be cool, I think. Fucking slutty ass monkeys.
I feel like that needs to go on a t-shirt now. Slutty ass monkeys.
Slutty ass monkeys.
Play-Doh, like soft Play-Doh being molded and formed. And that is the job of parents, to help guide and strengthen and grow their children in a healthy way so they can grow up to be mentally stable adults. And you're taking young children, so impressionable, they don't really have a grasp on what's happening in the world, and you're exposing them to such sexually explicit perversion. Like, how is that going to help them in the long run?
I mean, you're not exposing them to sexual perversion. Like the drag queen thing, the event was not sexually perverted or anything like that, for one. For two, the Bible, like, I mean, the Bible has more sexually perverted things in it than a drag show does.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, basically it's this conflation of, I'm going to call any exposure to sexual identity as bad that doesn't suit me, but we'll ignore the fact that we are constantly pushing cis heteronormativity in everybody's face, like a fucking unsolicited dick pic, like literally just constantly. But when it's just the level of there are other sexual identities out there and we can be understanding, empathetic, and accepting of them, now it's a problem. And around the kids, how
would you think of the children?
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah, KC said, that their boys will be boys people, which is some of the most toxic kind of thinking that you can actually, continue to teach like a child these days. I mean, I don't know. For them to talk about being sexually perverse, but then, also believe in, all of this bullshit about buying and selling women as if they're commodities.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that they don't view the Bible like that, but that's exactly what's in the Bible.
Right. They're selective, the things they want and the models that they want to continue, and the models that apparently, supposedly work for them. They want that model to continue, and they cherry pick based on that. And that's their selection criteria.
Yeah.
Look at that one in the white shirt with that purple polish. It's like a whore.
You can't hear Casey because she refuses to be mic'd.
I
But
think
she says
said Bethany looks like a whore in that shirt, but I wasn't.
yeah, no. She said, look at the one in the white shirt with those purple that purple nail polish. She looks like a whore.
Yeah. There are literally people out there who would say nail polish, you fucking harlot.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I don't wear nail polish or makeup, and I bathe in beef stock.
You know, I have worn nail polish one time, and Casey regretted painting it on me, so that's why I don't ever wear.
I think about doing it all the time, but I know that I have obsessions with certain things, and that if it just chipped even a little bit, I would just pick at it incessantly, and then I'd have to take the whole thing. It would be the upkeep with my brain being awful would be would not be good.
Yeah, I don't know. My nails just don't look good in any other color other than like translucent.
Bethany's got a scrunchie on her wrist like the sluttiest of monkeys. Oh my god, she's got her scrunchie on the gay side. Do you not know what you're signaling out there, Kristen? A scrunchie on the left wrist? God damn.
Oh man.
So I think it is.
Oh yeah, and one in her hair. Why do you need two scrunchies? The fuck is? How many scrunchie incidents are you having in a day?
Apparently, somebody in the chat called. It's Diggity, or Diggy. Sorry, Diggy says we got a harlot of Babylon on our hands here.
I hope they mean me.
Yeah, Casey said it suits you. So
let me take a button down. Here we go.
That's fucking harlot.
Now that's what I call chest hair. Coming to your mom's wet dream this fall.
This is sexier than the whole drag show.
Yeah, this is getting a lot hotter than the drag show for sure.
Look at my chest; it's not going to lick itself.
Yeah. So I'm going in to request a review from YouTube right now.
Avoid this timestamp.
Yeah. Just don't look here.
First 2 minutes only. Man, I have my chest looks weirdly less hairy on camera. I really looked at it earlier and I realized the shape of my chest hair is an elephant and then its trunk.
Oh. You know, with our previous conversation about elephants,
it's not eating shit.
Okay.
Sometimes my hair looks like the tree of life.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
Yeah, quite. My back hair, though, I've got a lot of it, but it's patchy. It's weird. There's just spots where there isn't. None of you will ever see it unless I like. If by some miracle I drop like 80 pounds, maybe I'd show my back then. But y'all ain't getting it.
All right, let's continue with whatever they're saying.
Of child abuse, but that's just
100%.
one facet of this. The other main facet is just the mainstreaming of drag, and how there's like you were telling me about a show that's really popular for like teens
There's
and like
a new
young
show.
people.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's either come out or it's coming out, and it's basically they take a few young kids, drag, that are drag stars, and they get to basically perform, and it's a whole reality show about these kids. And so the normalization not only of that you have like the library readings, drag queen story hour, and just this massive over sexualization of these adults, which is so creepy to me. Adult, typically men, already dressed up like women, now preying on these young children, literally.
I mean, do you think that maybe they're just jealous because these drag queens have a better fashion sense than they do?
I don't think they understand the concept of fashion sense. It's not something they realize they should be measuring against other people. It's a whole lot of so what and this like constant pushing of gender must equal sex. And it's fucking like, it's people dressing up like women. It's men dressing up like women and having a silly time. And when they get older, they might presented in a more sexual way, though not as in to then have sex with every member of the audience or necessarily at all, sort of just in the way most dancing and recreational activities have, or lots of recreational activities, especially that are made for couples and such, will have some sexual element to it. Even like fucking what is dancing if not even weird Mormon dancing where you're only one hand on the hip and then one hand out to the side, if not a fucking mating ritual. It's just fucking nonsense.
Yeah,
Everything is sex, guys. It's all sex.
KC brought up something interesting. I wonder what they would think about toddlers and tiaras like that. I mean, that's people that are sexualizing young children to be put into, these beauty pageants, and that literally is sexualizing them. And, that like affirming, somebody is being LGBT or part of the LGBTQ community, letting them know that that's okay, and supporting them and supporting other people that are not necessarily, not necessarily following like the gender norms or these social constructs that we placed on these different things. Like teaching kids to be accepting of all people is a good thing, not only for like the kids that are part of those groups, but also for other kids so that they know that it's okay. But obviously these two girls here, they want to act like, oh, well, this is just bad and horrible and it's over sexualizing children. I've never heard shit from any of these types of people about toddlers and tiaras or any of the other sexualization of women that's been done, not only like in the popular media, but also in the church itself. Like you've got pastors that stand up there and talk about how women are to blame for the lustful thoughts of men, calling a non-virgin woman a dirty dish rag or some kind of fucking shit like that. Like that's far more detrimental than being like, oh, daughter, it's really okay that you like other girls.
I've decided to needlessly over-sexualize your stream while you were ranting. I thought it would be funnily ironic. This stream is for all ages.
This is a family-friendly stream, and I don't want to hear shit about it. You understand?
Oh my God, did we catch a glimpse of his underwear? These are my Calvin Kleins. But I'm purposely avoiding showing feet, you fucking weirdos. I've learned my lesson with that one.
Most inappropriate part is how white his thighs are.
Did you hear KC?
Yeah, I heard.
I love you, Jimmy.
That's just kind of me all around. Look at, like, you can see the type of sun exposure I get on my arms, but not my chest. Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's a stark difference. Even like, yeah. Wow, that's pretty bad. Well,
say I'm a quarter Puerto Rican, and I got a lot of light on me right now, so you can't really tell. But like, I don't know. I'm pretty dark skinned, like for a white dude, I guess.
I am so European that I definitely come from a family tree that reconverges from time to time. No, all right, I did my 23andMe, and they were like, "We didn't know you could be this white." I am an Aryan's wet dream. Actually, said I want to show off the chaos of the outfit. I'll be doing the rest of the show like this.
Oh, okay. It kind of looks like maybe my head's attached to the top of your body.
I'll do your hand. I'll do your arm expressions.
Man, guys, I lost about 100 pounds. I don't know if y'all can tell.
That's sweet of you to say, but I think you'd be surprised. Oh man, was I slip a belly button just now? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to turn this into a whore podcast.
All right, they got more shit to say.
Why do I do my best work on other people's channels?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
There's less pressure. Yeah,
that's right. I don't give a fuck what happens to this channel. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'd feel horrible. You do good work and it's for charity. I just feed myself a lot.
I mean, I'm I'm doing decently, so I don't necessarily need the money from YouTube. That's why I give to charity. I don't do this full time, so.
And I lace all of my food with cocaine, so I need all of it.
Okay.
All the money.
Like parents are just handing them over, and I don't even want to know, like 15 years from now, 20 years from now, the stories that are going to come out. And I think there's going to be a massive change because right now, us as adults are the ones putting our children in this situation, putting them.
They can't even consent,
Yeah.
They're just told, this is good, this is healthy, go for it.
Like this is just the, even taking young boys and dressing them up like over-sexualized women, grown men and women who think that's like hot or whatever. That is just horrific to think that we are doing this to our children. And so
there's actually like a point in here that could not suck, but they're far from making it, which is that parents need to stop vicariously living through their children in a lot of ways. But you see that a lot with pageant moms, like fucking goddamn. And then a lot of dads with their sons on sports teams and shit, and the way they push it. And I have no doubt that that probably extends into areas like the one that we're talking now, because parents and their kids like fucking learn some goddamn boundaries, you people. But that's more of a universal concept that they're not getting close to. Their fear is that people will accept queer people. And remember that like they also hate gay people. They've just stopped addressing that because it's less popular. When they deleted their blogs attacking the gay agenda, it was almost all the exact same fucking verbiage as this is, but now they're just hiding it in places. So it's all disingenuous fucking garbage. But parents are creepy with their kids. Quit living through your kids, man. Like,
well, I agree with that point that parents don't need to live vicariously through their kids or force their kids into anything. But also, like you were saying, this just simply is not the case for what they're complaining about. Like, I mean, I think that it would be wrong for a parent to force their,
religion.
Force religion, yes. But I was going to say to force their young child to wear any kind of clothing that they don't want to, whether that be what's normally perceived as girl clothes or boy clothes or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I have some mixed feelings on that. Like, if I have a kid, it's like, no, you absolutely have to wear pants to the grocery store. You can't go out hanging in rain. What the fuck is wrong with you? And then I slap them. Not really. I don't have kids. It's fine. The kid I'm beating in my head is totally imaginary. It's fine.
Yeah. but I mean, like they're thinking that parents are forcing like young boys to dress like girls. And I would hazard to bet that most of the time, if that is happening, it's the, kids that are wanting to dress in a certain way. Right. It has nothing to do with whether or not the parents are forcing them to do one thing or another. I think the most thing the most that you could say are the parents are just forcing the child to wear fucking something, you know.
In the majority of cases, it's going to be something that a kid is doing for fun or to be funny or to be silly, to socially interact with other people, to find social acceptance amongst their peers, but also adults. Is like when you're a kid, being funny, for example, for adults is always like way more gratifying and validating. We'll just have some knee now. It's in most cases it's going to be that way. The problem with this and the problem with the way they always have these arguments. I know I'm moving around and fidgeting a lot. People are going to start thinking that I actually am lacing my food with cocaine, but I just feel very antsy. Anyway, the problem is that you almost always can find somebody that represents the extreme. So you can find that one person out somewhere that's trying to make sure their kid comes out gay or their kid ends up with some identity. You can always find that extreme fucking piece of shit somewhere. And what they do is they represent an entire movement as being those extremes that should be, accounted for and people should do things to prevent. And then they'll make the argument first that this is what's happening, and then they try and go find that one person that represents it and says, see, proof, it's the movement. They've been doing that lately with pedophiles and the whole minor attracted persons thing, and acting like there are queer people, that the queer movement wants to accept MAPS as a part of the queer movement. And basically the whole queer movement's like, fuck no, we don't. But then you get that one sociology professor from Duke University who was like, well, maybe we should. And then they try and paint it as though that is the mass representation. It's just pedantic, equivocating bullshit.
Yeah. Another thing that they said in this particular section is this whole idea of consent. Like, these children can't even consent. Where the fuck is this thinking while you're reading the goddamn Bible?
Right. The Bible is filled with absolute smut. And then you're teaching your kids about hell, telling them that their friends are going there. The fucking, you ever gave a shit about consent? Kids can't consent to lots of things, and we don't give a fuck about. There are specific things that their inability to consent to. It is egregious when then that is violated. But then there's lots of things they can't consent to that fucking yeah, no, you have to do your homework. Well, I don't consent, and I give a fuck. Get in your room. That's how I speak to my imaginary son.
Oh, really?
Fine, he's imaginary.
Yeah.
Xander Crookshanks Jr.
It's got
and his son, Xander Crookshanks the third.
The third.
Mm-hmm. We kept the line going.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. How old is my son?
I don't know. He'd have to at least be old enough to have his balls drop, right?
Presumably.
Yeah.
So important to get back to the basic fact that we have a designer, we have a God who loves us, we have a God who cares about us, and he did not make a mistake when he chose to create the male and the female from the beginning of time. He was extremely intentional in creating man and woman and putting them.
There literally are people who biologically, by every standard that these people try to throw out, where it has to do with chromosomes, where it has to do with anatomy, there are literally people who do not meet their criteria. Intersex people exist. So even if you want to get outside of the identity, the perfection of your God's plan was clearly he was goddamn drunk. But very confident. Man, I fucking nailed this. Like a goddamn alcoholic. Your God is an alcoholic, and I fucked him in a nightclub bathroom. That's called a callback. It's a comedy tool, ladies and gentlemen, and Smiz Mars.
Yeah. So, yeah. I had something to say, but I've done forgot about it.
Distracted by my chest hair again.
No, the callback really threw me off there.
Context of marriage, putting sex and intimacy.
Oh, sorry. Now I remember once I started it. So this whole idea about God fearfully and wonderfully specifically making like man and woman. Harping on what you said there, Jimmy. You would think that God would have done it so that there was no confusion if that was what was intended, right? But yet, what we find is that there's a lot of confusion going on as far as like biochemistry goes. When you try to connect that to a traditional understanding of like gender roles and sex and all this other stuff, Like there's obvious confusion going on between our perception and how it actually happens. And I really don't think that a God would have been so specific about it to make man and woman and all this other bullshit, but also leave the biochemistry down to just like fucking chance. You know,
the design of humans is nonsense if it was done on purpose. Like truly you fucked up if this is what you were going for. There's so much about us that, first of all, 2 eyes and no backup if you poke them both out. That's fucking nuts. Why do we should lay eggs? Laying eggs is a better system in nature than it just is. It's better in so many ways, less birth complications, less dying. We should lay eggs. And then fertilizing eggs would also be more of a situation of like jerking off onto the eggs. So you'd eliminate this problem that men are creepy and don't always give a shit about the consent of the individual they're trying to enter. Basically, the God isn't real because we don't lay eggs. You heard it here first.
That's a solid argument right there.
I could defend that all fucking day long, by the way. I literally just the fact that now somebody will be like, yeah, but you're going with evolved. I understand why we've evolved to not lay eggs. I understand that as far as the development of a fetus, it fucking takes forever. Look at so many other animals, even some that don't lay eggs. What is it for a dog? 9 weeks? We got 9 months. I understand why that lengthier period of time and the fact that we're going for fewer offspring at a time and all that shit. I fucking get all of that. I understand why we evolved it. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a situation where we are intelligently designed. By the way, if egg laying was a thing, we wouldn't have to worry about this whole abortion deal. I'm just saying it would be much simpler.
Yeah, very, very true there, Jimmy.
Quit arguing with me, John. Okay, eggs. First of all, I wonder if we would eat unfertilized human eggs if we...
I was just thinking that.
Right?
Like, would there be a black market for like huge, like...
Or would it even be a black... Would it even be a black market? Would it just be accepted socially? Like unfertilized specifically? Yeah. Would it just be accepted? Oh, but then what would happen? Like those occasionally with chicken eggs, you get a fertilized one by accident. Oh man, that'd be fucking traumatic.
Yeah, it was
like, I'm gonna have breakfast, and then you like break it in the skillet, and you're like, oh, there's Todd.
There's Todd.
Yeah, I named it in the moment. I named him.
Oh man.
Somebody just showed up and said I missed most of this, which means they came in on my thesis defending that humans should lay eggs.
Oh man. All right. Let's get back to the video. Now that we discussed human eggs and whether or not we should eat them.
Unfertilized? Jeez, I'm not a monster.
Right. Unfertilized ones.
I want to turn the stove on when Todd comes out.
Within the context of marriage, not for just general consumption, but as a beautiful celebration of that covenant and a beautiful, ultimately a reflection of God's desire to deeply know us and us to deeply know him in an intimate, close relationship. And so it's heartbreaking to think that we have strayed so far from God's design, and we think, wow, well, true happiness is rejecting everything that our creator, our designer, whether we acknowledge him or not, has set forth, and we're going to bend all of these gender norms. We're going to completely reject male and female, and we're going to mash it up, mix it up, chop it up, literally inject it, and come up with whatever we want. And
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by the live chat because I'm pretty sure this person's being sarcastic. If not, but somebody said once again we have two men discussing reproductive rights, which I think is about the eggs thing, and that's hilarious. That's the funniest fucking comment someone could have made in that moment. I have no idea I doubt I doubt I care what they've said, but if you have commentary, I don't know what the girl said at all.
Well, it was just Bethany complaining about how honestly, I think I need to go back a little bit and listen to it again. So let's re-listen to it real quick.
We know
All
us.
right, nobody
and
say
us to
anything
deeply
funny in
know
the
him
live
in an
chat.
intimate, close relationship. And so it's heartbreaking to think that we have strayed so far from God's design, and we think, wow, well, true happiness is rejecting everything that our creator, our designer, whether we acknowledge him or not, has set forth. And we're going to bend all of these gender norms. We're going to completely reject male and female, and we're going to mash it up, mix it up, chop it up, literally inject it, and come up with whatever we want. And
I mean, I don't even know what in the fuck she's talking about, like literally, because we're talking about the drag queens. I mean, I don't know what we could possibly be mashing up, mixing up, and injecting into children, people. Like, I have no idea.
She's definitely talking about like transition, things that people use to transition. The thing that it ignores is she's using this very visceral phraseology. So it sounds very like, oh my God, that's so extreme. That's so extreme. We use those types of gender affirming cares for cis people also. Mm-hmm. It's not just for, so a woman who maybe has wonky breasts might get them evened out or enhanced. I'm sure they're against boob enhancement, but I have to assume that they're fine with even non-cancerous tumors that are aesthetically unpleasing being removed. And that affects a person's experience of their own gender, even though they might be cis and they want to affirm their own gender. There are people who end up having more masculine builds who do things to try and then also in the reverse. I drank a lot of soy milk in my teenage years. There's a little more breast tissue here than I care for. I might get that popped out one day or pretend it's pecs. I don't know. It ain't pecs. But anyway, there's gender affirming surgeries are widely accepted for people doing it for themselves if it's within their own gender. And yet you could use that same phraseology. Women who don't have enough estrogen or have too much estrogen will take products that either give them more or restrict it. And often it has to do with their fertility as being one of the motivators for that. Men who don't have enough testosterone, i.e. pretty much everybody the moment they turn 31, will often get more testosterone via, it could be injection or different ways. And so you're talking about these things that are super commonplace procedures for people in, the only one that you can say is unique to trans people, though again, actually not entirely, because it does happen to intersex people, but you could at least say it's, there's not a lot of reasons I can imagine a cis person would have specifically a sex change surgery. Those are the only ones you could say are somewhat unique, again, except for they're very similar to intersex surgeries as well. So the visceral like phrasing she's using, again, is cherry picked to be, I'm going to use these descriptors, even though I would have no qualms with a cis person doing these exact things for themselves. You know, they're not attacking even people who have their breasts reduced because they're too large that they are a hindrance, or a full-on goddamn mastectomy where they're getting them removed because of cancer or some other, even the threat of cancer. There are people who have it or have it partially because they have a gene that puts them at a high threat for breast cancer. They're not attacking those people who are doing these same goddamn procedures with this same phraseology that's made to make it sound like the procedure itself is violent and horrible. There, suddenly they can see the nuance.
Yeah. And, you know, is there really, they're making a big deal about how far we've strayed from God's design, right? And they're making it out to be like affirming LGBTQ persons in general is somehow perverted or bad or whatever. But like, is it really that much different than straying how far they've already strayed from God's quote unquote design? Because I'm fairly certain that they consented to being married to who they're married to. They consented to. Did both of them have a kid, or was it just one of? I know one of them at least.
Bethany has had at least one kid. She's pregnant with another, and then Kristen has adopted 2 kids. They aren't able to have kids of their own. I'm so torn. Okay. Somebody has asked who I am because they'd like to check my channel out. And on the one hand, I always need more people to watch my channel. But on the other hand, I always want to warn people to never watch my channel. And to tell you who I am would ruin the bit of my name being Xander Crookshanks.
So you're saying you don't want me to put your channel link in the description because I'm
just put the link. The link, but put Xander Crookshanks channel : and then the link.
Okay,
that'll work.
Yeah, I'll fix that up right now.
Yeah, make sure it's spelled correctly. Crookshanks.
Yeah. Gotcha.
With a K. I don't know what way would somebody ever spell it wrong? Maybe with a hyphen.
All right, I got you in there. If you're wondering, refresh the page. You'll be able to get the link to Xander's channel there. You
can call me Zanker for short. That's kind of dope. Yeah,
Zanker.
The CR ZAN or XANCR.
Yeah,
Zanker. Sounds like a fucking antacid. I got a little bit of heartburn. You got a Zanker for me?
But my point is that both of them consented to have children. Both of them, have this ability to, have their own business to be self-sufficient women if they want to. And like, that's already straying far from what God designed, because, if you remember in the Bible, it says that God designed women to be a helpmeet for the man.
Yeah.
And so, like, in all throughout the Bible, there's all this misogynistic shit and everything. So it kind of seems to me like they've already strayed pretty far from God's design. Is it really that big of a deal to stray even farther from it?
By the way, Girl Define, if you're going to keep coming after the transes, I might remind you that your savior, Jesus Christ, did not have a genetic father from which to inherit a Y chromosome, and therefore was genetically a woman. Just want to point that out. Want to point out you by your own logic that you got a trans savior there.
Look, okay, it's magic, so they don't got to explain shit.
Yeah, trans people are magical. I fucking agree.
I just think it takes common sense to look at it and go, wow, this is a disaster. No wonder we are having so many mental problems and like anxiety problems. Like, we are literally setting ourselves up on a trajectory of disaster and acting like it's the solution.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like outside of the trans community, outside of the drag queen community, outside of the LGBTQ community, those are still problems. But the issue within those communities around anxiety and depression and all that is because of how our society, like specifically, I guess, the United States society, has treated individuals in those groups in the past. Like, and how our current, societal norms, where I feel like we are kind of transitioning into a more progressive direction. At least it seems like in some instances.
Boy, I hope so, but I don't hold the same confidence.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
would hope
noticed,
so too.
But fascism might be winning. I sort of seems like it's getting more popular at least.
Oh yes, I definitely agree with you there about the whole fascism thing. I'm definitely worried about like the future, but as far as like the conversations online, amongst just people in general, you do see at least a little bit more acceptance of like the LGBTQ community and all this other and all other marginalized communities like that. And it really oh shit, my camera died on me apparently. It really bothers me how, they're acting like, they're acting like these are problems that are caused by those communities, when really it's those communities that are trying to alleviate like that issue.
Yeah.
Shit. Now my
Lek is cool is actually right in the chat there, points out it's actually Xander Crookshanks with a space. And your suspicions, I'm sure, are so I'll just say now it is true. I am Tom Hanks' lover. So that is where that comes from. Then somebody also pointed out that Jimmy Snow is also not my real name. That's also true. My real name is Reginald Amberger Helper. So if anybody wanted to dox me,
that's a true story. I've actually mailed him some shit before. So.
Yeah, it's on my social security card.
Yep.
Prove that it's not.
So as Christians specifically, like obviously we're coming from a worldview, we're coming from looking at God's word as our foundation for truth. We as Christians have to be intense.
We're coming from a worldview. We're coming from, and that's the only time they're coming. All right, go ahead. Moving on.
To follow our creator. We're told, and society tells us, look within to discover who you are. Look at your feelings. Look at what you're into. Look at your past. Look at your present. Like, look within to define yourself. But when we look in God's word, we really see that we discover who we are by knowing who God is. We don't.
I mean, she's basically at this point just saying, well, don't trust yourself to know yourself. Just look to the Bible and have it tell you who you're supposed to be.
Here's what you should do. Forget about any ideas you might have about your own self, your own identity. What if I told you that there was a guy and then he sort of told another guy and then that guy told another guy? There's like 100 guys, but then there's a final guy and that guy can tell you what to do. But they're all 100 guys. They know who God is. Nothing got mixed up in the middle either. It's all perfect. I'm rubbing my nose a lot for somebody claiming that this is not coke fidgeting, but I was in my wood shop earlier. You got a little wood dust up there. I'm looking like Rudolph now, though. Touched it too much.
Discover ourselves apart from God. We learn who we are because we're informed by God. And as we look in God's word, we see, like you said, he has a very clear plan for the male and the female. In Genesis 1 and 2, we see God making, like you said, distinctions. He made a man, a male, and he made a female, a woman. And it's so clear. But in society, we're told, men can be women, women can be men, anyone can be anything, really. And
it's really just speaking from such absolute privilege that you woke up with the body of a woman feeling like a woman. Good for fucking you. And you have so little regard for anybody who might not feel that way, or anybody who it might just be more complex. The people who woke up feeling like a woman but don't feel conventionally attractive or feel like they have a more masculine build, even just among cis people. You are like, so it's not just trans people you're hating on. It's the people who can't look like you, can't live up to the level of femininity that the two of you, I think, like, they're both tall, and that's about the only thing that isn't conventionally considered normal looking femininity, and they're both pretty enough. I don't want to talk too much about their looks, but that's just not there's no winning going down that path. But they exist in a society where they are celebrated as cis women and happen to feel that way and have been accepted as cis women and as conventionally attracted, maybe more in the past, but whatever. They are fucking, you're just talking out of your privileged ass and going, boy, this thing that lined up for me really well, that I was born into, and still lined up for me really well, it makes me happy. So clearly this is how everybody will be happy. But at the end of the day, none of their arguments fucking matter, because they have this, like, whatever the deal is, God made us this certain way, and that's why we have to live that way, because that's how God made us. And they always skip over. Girl Defined has never once made a video proven God exists, has never once made the case that they have proof God exists. You're meant to just start with you just give them that God exists and the Bible is true. And I would love to hear them fucking prove it or even attempt to prove it, but they never will because they cannot meet any sort of reasonable standard. It's always going to come down to, well, I just know. I just feel it. Fuck off.
Yeah, the myopic nature of their opinion there kind of makes them look way more authoritarian than maybe they really think of themselves, because I mean they're sitting there harping on how everybody should just look to the Bible to understand how there's this just perfectly dichotomous biology in humans, because that's how God made it. And that's really not even considering how the biochemistry of the human body works. That's ignoring how chemistry, like brain chemistry works. That's ignoring a whole host of like empirically proven things that it's just not true. And I mean, that's what you get when you indoctrinate, people into a religion. You have them forego reality for, the thing that the book says. And if the book doesn't say it, then it's obviously not real. And since, for them, you can't, can you really make a case from the Bible that it's bad to be a trans person? Like, I think there might be one or two verses where it talks about how a man shouldn't do women's work or shouldn't be in the position of a woman or something like that. But I think that's about as much of a direct thing in the Bible that you can make.
But even if you could, if that's what the core of your argument is, which, granted, they're not doing Mike Winger's thing and pretending they have a secular argument for all of these things at the same time. Like, in a way, I'm relieved they're not at least doing that. But if you're going to hinge it all on because the Bible says it and it's God's design, then the stakes go way fucking up on, okay, explain to me why I should give a fuck what the Bible says. Explain to me why I should believe your God exists. They have they've set themselves up for the highest burden of, okay, then you need to show me that God exists. And they're like, no, we don't. If you don't believe in God, then our message isn't for you, but we will vote and try and dictate that you live our religion too. But as far as our fucking shit goes, we're talking to other Christian girls.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, do you think that how they're talking, I mean, I feel like I know the answer to this, but do you feel like how they're setting all this up, how they're talking, how they're sort of othering people and painting them as perverse? Don't you think that it has a very a detrimental and net negative audience?
Yeah, for sure. I was only making the distinction between they're not pretending. So you see it when they do their queer content. Their queer content has now become not what it used to be, where it was just like being gay is against nature and like they would still say that kind of stuff in their old blogs. Now it's basically don't be gay because God doesn't want you to be gay. So here are the ways that God will save you from gayness. And so at the end of the day, it's almost a relief to just, with fundamentalists, just go like, at least you acknowledge all of your arguments are stupid. Like you've done so much of my work for me already. Like it makes it easy.
Yeah.
It does get so confusing. It does get so complicated. And if your framework is that you have to look within and you have to find and discover who you are, and now you have 1,000 options for who you can be, that is so hard. That is so scary. And even if you think you find who you are, over time it could change. 1 year, 2 years, 5 years.
All of those options? You don't want all those options. If it's up to you, then you have to decide. And there's so many options. So what about the simplicity of I've heard literally similar arguments for justifying slavery, where it took away, at least as a slave, you knew where you were going to sleep at night and eat and where, I'm not against cruel slavery, but it was actually a pretty good deal. And it took a lot of pressure off and they don't have to work. And you're like, the fuck are you talking about? We should all just give up our personalities and give up ourselves and let God and some people, by the way, God never wrote a goddamn thing down himself. So we're really supposed to trust the men who wrote something on behalf of this supposedly existing God. Just trust them and their design for everybody instead of, and at least you won't have to, all those choices. I mean, have you ever got, like, I didn't go to college because I looked and there are so many things you could major in. So I just decided to be a crusty old bitch on the internet. I don't use the phrase crusty old bitch on my channel. I should more.
You all right?
They might have gone to college. I don't know. This fucking like, you'd have so many options. Are you going to be a scientist or a musician? I mean, you're paralyzed by the options.
Yeah. Mike Winger, I just recently covered Mike Winger on my channel, and he said that when in Numbers 31, when the Israelites like killed off all the Midianites and then stole all the young Midianite girls, he said that was elevating their privilege because they would become either a servant or a wife.
Yeah.
And that's just straight up disgusting.
By the way, you know what option isn't in the Bible? Women having a ministry. And they literally call it girl-defined ministries.
Mm-hmm.
So they have picked something. They have defined themselves with something, an option that is not fucking biblical. Now, look, I don't want to shock anybody. Can we go bigger, you and I bigger screen? I want to make sure that we get the full. I don't want to shock anybody. I don't want anybody to feel, look, please just prepare yourself for a revelation here. This is going to be a lot to take in. Christians are sometimes hypocritical. That's the whole revelation. You're sitting here saying, just only do what the Bible says, and are defined as two people who not only have broken the mold and picked in something out of the Bible, you're actually doing shit that you're not allowed to do at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like have a ministry as women. I only needed the big screen for the one joke. That was the whole thing. It was fine. It wasn't my best work of the episode, but it was okay.
All right, let's see.
Earlier was the best part.
Yeah. Let's see if we can finish out their video real quick.
It could be different, but when we look at God's word, it honestly erases the confusion. Like there's so much confusion, there's so much dysfunction, and we look at God's word and we.
I don't know about you, Jimmy, but whenever we read the Bible, I'm thoroughly confused by a lot of fucking things. So I don't see it erasing any kind of confusion.
They talk about how perfect the Bible is all the time, and that it literally will say things like its word stands alone, but please buy one of our 5 books explaining it to you. Which
That's
one
like
is it? You crusty old bitches. Sorry. Fucking whore monkeys.
See the simplistic truth that in the beginning he created them male and female. He created them in his image. And so the fact that I'm born.
Well, so yeah, she's about to go through some shit right here. But if it were that simple, then why does sex and gender seem to be so complicated when we take like an empirical and real world look at the issue? Like she's talking about how, it's just simple to see how God made man and woman. And she said that multiple times, but it's like, if it really were that simple, then it shouldn't be complicated now. And of course, she under her idea, it's not that complicated now. But that's just if you ignore all of the scientific evidence that we have concerning this particular area of reality, like the human biology and sex and gender and all that. Like if you just remove all of the advancement that we've done in that area, yeah, it's pretty fucking simple when you're goddamn ignorant.
Yeah, again, the privilege point has to keep being made. Like fucking, you wake up every day with the sensation of being a woman, which is something it's hard to pin down, and it's hard to conceptualize having the sensation of a gender that isn't yours. But I definitely, and most, I would say most cis men, or at least a good number, because there's some people with apathy. I have the experience of being a man every day. There is a certain sensation. And if you woke up tomorrow and you stopped having the sensation of being a woman, you would be devastated that fucking people like you were out in the world to prevent you from just peacefully living whatever version, whatever truth, whatever identity would be the most fucking validating. Because it's not every trans person, not even most of them, needs everyone to have a fucking parade for them in every room they enter. One or two of them exist. Some of them are my friends, and they're pretty exciting people to be around. But most of them don't need the parade. Most of them just want someone to say, "What would you like to eat tonight, ma'am?" The fucking waiter or whatever. Just validate their fucking identities. Just accept them socially and go on with their lives. Any other fucking shit that possibly could be scary, any other thing where they go and cherry pick the like, oh, here's a trans person who abused somebody, so clearly that must be representative. Fucking accept people as they are, handle their identity stuff, and then we don't have to worry about whether there's some conflation. We don't have to worry about all the other fucking bullshit. And we can go after anybody who is legitimately an abuser or anybody who is legitimately predatory, because it happens to exist totally independent of their identity. Of course, not every fucking trans person is going to fucking fart rainbows and be a great person. Not every drag person is going to legitimately be a good person. And there are going to be people who are going to try and be predatory and shitty while using those identities as a shield. But they are few and far between. And the fucking you trying to project this sexual predatoriness on just people acting like themselves would be like me saying you fucking raped little boys because you support religious institutions that did that shit. And yet I don't say that about you, Kristen and Bethany. I doubt you've raped any little boys, despite the fact that you have supported institutions that have covered up that fucking shit. Shall I broad brush you with what Christianity has brought us in the fucking form of how children are treated? Is that we want to fucking talk about what an identity? By the way, yours you can fucking choose. And yet we can't fucking, you would feel like it was wrong to broad brush any of that fucking shit directed back at you, you crusty old bitches. I tried to get bitch out of my vocabulary, but recently it's come back. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. You doing okay over there, Jimmy?
I'm a little mad.
Yeah.
So, was I in the little window that whole time? Sort of undermines. Yeah. It's fine. It's over.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I really should have switched back. I didn't think.
I just like the idea of little window also having like a helium voice. So that whole time I'm like, how dare you with your fucking shit? You hate babies.
Born with the female body informs me of God's intention for me. It informs me of who I am. Psalm 139 talks about all of us when we're in.
Is this working? My soundboard, do I sound like a little baby?
It's definitely a bit more high pitched. Yep.
A bit? This is only a bit more high pitched? Do I always sound like I just fucking...
No, there you go.
Voice.
Now you're Satan.
I wish. Fuck.
All right, my bad.
No, you're fine. But she's talking about like what you were saying, the whole privilege thing of, but she wakes up in a female body, but she's like, I wake up in a female body and that tells me what God wants me to be. And like, that's such a toxic way to view anything.
Yeah. It works for me, so it must work for you.
Exactly.
Which is like the core of fucking so much bigotry, so much identity related bigotry.
Mm-hmm.
the womb, the Bible says that God sees us. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well because God was forming us, handcrafting us. None of us are a mistake, but when we look at our physical bodies, it's not detached from our gender identity. Our physical body, our biology, it is a part of God's holistic plan for who we are. And I can look at my body and see, I'm a female, therefore God made me to be a woman.
Reject all of the science about how sex and gender are not the same thing, or any concept of that. Like, reject all of that, and it's just it's all one thing.
Yeah, I mean, from their standpoint and their ideology, if they accept science, which so often they just deny it outright, but even if they accepted science, they would just come back with, again, the way they've been doing the queer stuff. Then it's your burden to overcome. God, that's what God's gonna, reward you for getting over. So get the fuck over it and live life, and you'll be happier, even though we have no data to back that up, that living against your own identity and self-interest will make you happier. They're just fucking, I feel like I don't want to keep calling them whore monkeys, because I see myself as a whore monkey.
Yeah. But then it's not an insult. You're just, I don't know.
No, I'm not saying I care about insulting them. Fuck them. I'm saying whore monkey sounds too good for them.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't deserve that. I don't use the term whore as a negative almost ever. It's usually a positive in my world. I aspire to whoredom. So I don't want to dish them such a compliment. And we literally are monkeys. So like,
yeah,
I aspire to be a whore monkey. I'm waiting for the live chat where someone's gonna like, technically we're not monkeys, and then I'm gonna say technically we are. That's a bad argument atheists use a lot. Whenever a religious person says, you said we evolved from monkeys, and then they go, no, we're not monkeys, we're apes. We're also monkeys. Sorry, everybody. You're actually wrong about that one. John, I don't know where you fall on that thing, but you're wrong too. Well, maybe you're not. I don't know. Are you wrong?
No. So I say, well, because generally when people are saying, oh, we evolved from monkeys, it's like, well, we didn't evolve from like, monkeys that we have now. Obviously, we evolved from a proto ancestor that diverged into, the great ape family and all this other stuff. So, I mean, as far as
a lot of people like to say we evolved from a common ancestor with monkeys, but that common ancestor wasn't a monkey, and they're wrong. It was, and we would still be classified as monkeys as far as biological classification goes. There's a really long, good, a little boring in some spots video on R and Ross specifically about how this classification works. We are indeed monkeys.
Right.
Lek is cool quoted me. I don't know where you fall on that, but you're wrong. I just wanted to fight.
Yeah. Sorry, Jimmy. We agreed too much for us to fight. Or maybe no, here's something better. We're too good of friends to fight.
What? That's what friendships are? Fuck that.
Fuck that
shit. Fight. First of all, how do you know if you're a friend if you can't fight somebody and still be friends after? I feel like that's the mark of a real friendship. I feel like I've even described to other people, like, the thing I really like about Godless Engineer and KC is we've annoyed the shit out of each other in the past over things, and then we just go on being friends. Like yeah, we've gotten in little fights here and there over things in the past, over disagreements over things in the past. I can't remember what the topics were, but I can remember at some time being like, God damn, what are you? Yeah, I remember something.
I've never really been a stamp collector. So, I mean, if we have, I mean, I know my personal view is that, like, if we don't agree on something, that's fine.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're not supposed to agree on every single thing.
Don't insult my dick or anything, and we're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I feel like that describes half of how arguments dissolve into nonsense, where it starts becoming less about like the argument and it's more like, yeah, well, your wiener sucks. And, if we get there, then I'm probably going to be like, well, you're not a very good friend. I told you that in confidence. I told you that in confidence. Thank you. That was supposed to be between us. Matic sucks. Matic sucks. It's a little Dicky song.
Look at his word to see, what does it mean to be a woman? How do I live out my life as a woman, distinct from a man? And same if you're born a man. And so as we submit our lives to the authority of God's word, we recognize him as a good father. It clears up so much of the confusion and brings so much clarity. We discover who we are by knowing who he is. And the whole big push for drag queens to be mainstream, the confusion around sexual identity and all of that, it can feel so hard to push back or resist because we're told that we're hateful, we're told that we're bigoted, we're told we're transphobic, we're told all of these things if we don't jump on board. But we have to be women who stand solid on the truth of God's word and say, I love
that their argument is like, we're basically told that we're hateful and bigoted and transphobic, but we have to do it anyway. And the subtext is like, we are those things, but do it, that's be hateful and bigoted and transphobic. That's the subtext of embrace the dark side.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, Casey had said this, that that they're that way, but it's justified. They think it's justified because of I'm guessing it's like, well, we don't feel this way. God is the one that feels this way about it, and that's the only way we can know reality, I guess.
You know what I think is probably happening to some people who are watching that I never get on my own channel, even though I'm going to center this around me as I do. I think there are people who are probably sitting going like, God, Girl Define's video is now getting pretty boring and repetitive, but I'm not going to leave because Jimmy might do something weird again. I need to know I need to see what happens. Like something unexpected might happen. And it never happens on my own channel. Everybody just fucking leaves whenever. It's man. My best work really is not on my channel. Literally, the best shit I've been doing this year is the Book of Mormon reading series on R and Ra's channel. Like, fucking, can I do a good thing on my own? And the answer is no, except masturbate. and that's only good half the time, depending on how frequent, proximity to the last time I masturbated. So
good to know, Jimmy. I'm so glad you're very open about.
Yeah, I'm in my 30s. Sometimes it's half-hearted. Sometimes you're just like, you're not really feeling it, guy. All right, I'll leave you alone. I'm bored of talking about these two. It's way more interesting to talk about jerking off.
Yeah. They've only got a few seconds left here, so let's just hear them out.
Oh,
that is craziness. Like, that is truly just like the brokenness of our society being lived out, and we have to fight against that and say God has a much better plan with compassion, speaking truth in love, and say, let's look at God's word. He cares for you. He made you. He knew you when you were like a tiny little baby, and he has a good plan for your life.
And that's it.
Somebody said that the last time they went on my channel, one of the mods timed them out for saying someone's eyebrows needed trimming. So there was a period of time where mods didn't understand that like rules need some level of discretion. Like don't follow the letter of a rule if it violates the spirit of the rule. And so I'm not saying it's impossible to happen again, but we've had the discussion since then to go like, look, yes, we have a rule about not commenting on people's appearance, but that's more about don't be fucking creepy and weird because guests can feel strange. And by the way, I don't even like care if, as far as my appearance and stuff goes, it does. Anyway, so to Priestess Zumi, I'm just saying, it should be better now. I don't know. The line is where sometimes it falls off the rails a little bit because we give hosts modding power too, like other people. And so sometimes Matt will like time out somebody and it's like, Matt, I like that guy being a dick on our other shows. Don't ban him. I guess it's time out. But anyway, I'm sorry if you got timed out for saying somebody needed to trim their eyebrows. But you sound like an asshole. No, I'm just kidding. You sound fine.
All right. So, yeah, Zumi's okay. We do have some super chats to get through. Yeah. Before we get to the super chats, though, I generally like to kind of do like a conclusion type of thing, like final thoughts type of deal. And for their video, I found it to be very repetitive and just pretty much centering around like, well, hey, God says there's man and woman, and therefore that's what you have to be. And so it's this whole toxic sort of attitude of wanting to force people to forego like their actual identity, however they may identify, and force themselves to conform to these traditional Christian identities. And you have to do that because that's what God says. And then, of course, there's the obvious confusion between, what's a drag queen, what are trans people, what's a trans person, what are those two groups? And of course, they're trying to make it out to be like those two groups are kind of interchangeable, or they're basically the same thing when they're really not. And so I don't know. I found that, their high horsed position kind of makes them come off as very authoritarian and just wanting to force people to, conform to what they consider to be like the normal. And, bitch, it's a lot of words for bitchy. Thank you, honey. These bitches are bitchy.
God damn, I need my own Brocephus like character.
Yeah.
We need to. I feel like the back and forth would be great. Isn't your background usually in motion?
No, not usually. Well, I guess kind of like on my produced videos, I've got a green screen that I can just pull down. And then I have like a kind of a fiery background that kind of moves a little bit.
I meant this background, this overlay window, the Godless Engineer. Don't they usually move the words Godless Engineer?
Oh, no, not for a while.
Oh.
They used to, like a long time ago, they used to move, but not anymore.
I would just prefer if they move, but whatever. Who cares what I think? Fucking.
Well, I mean, Jimmy, what? So those were my final thoughts. Well, what are your final thoughts about this Girl Defined video? Is this going to be your official last video about Girl Defined?
Who's Jimmy?
Oh, sorry, Xander.
Oh, Xander Crookshanks. You want to know? No, I don't know. Xander. Like, if they keep going, look. My whole thing is that at a certain point, I started to feel like if nobody else gives a shit about what they're saying, it probably doesn't benefit me to keep platforming them. Like at a certain point, you're like, you can keep somebody's channel alive, but then these little takes they're having about gender issues and drag and stuff are getting views like their old content used to. And so I'm definitely going to keep taking a break because it's nice, but one day I might come out of retirement and Tom Brady this motherfucker. Everyone saw how pale I was, and then I just tried to say motherfucker like that, and I just sounded like a fraud.
Well, Xander Crookshanks, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I do have Xander's link in the description if you want to go. Are we doing super chats? Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay.
I would if anybody out there, before we get to the super chats, and then
you're kicking me off.
No. I've got some Skeptic Mafia comments to go over as well.
Cool.
But if you want to go and subscribe to Xander here, just hit up that link in the description that we've got right there. And for anybody that might be leaving out that doesn't really want to listen to all the comments and us interacting with people, I hope that you guys have a great weekend. I am going to be on vacation next week, so we're probably not going to be. We are not going to be having a live stream. Then I might have something the following week, but I just got to take some time off. But anyways,
I'd like to say to anybody who's leaving early because they don't want to listen to the comments section, I hope you have a terrible weekend. Fuck you. Fuck out. You're gonna fucking leave early? The best might be yet to come. I haven't even shown my dick.
I don't think YouTube will allow that.
I'm just saying I haven't. I'm not saying I might. I'm just saying there is a gradient of quality that we've not reached. I might do
Yeah.
something as good as showing my dick.
Oh yeah.
Showing John's dick. I've got several photos.
What? Now, I don't. Man, you're
Casey and
supposed
I
to
have a
keep that
private
between us.
Casey and I have a private group chat. You don't gotta worry about it.
What? This is definitely not true.
She sends me pictures of your dick. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, going through the super chats, we've got Tomato Priestess Zumi, who said McMurtry has an inflatable pumpkin in his backyard that he named Jimmy that he fucks every night. All hail the Pumpkin King.
That's okay, because I fucked him 2 years ago. That guy is still not fucking recovered. Holy shit. I'm excited to give you the update. But whatever he does to that pumpkin is nothing compared to the way I fucked him with TommyMcMurtry.com. Fuck that guy. Woo!
The Gay Agenda had sent another super chat, but then they retracted it. So I don't know if they want me to read it or not. But thank you for the $5 super chat there.
Is there an obvious typo in it? Because
I think
sometimes
so.
people retract the typos, so maybe the spirit of the message is fine, but the typo they were embarrassed by.
Okay, well, they had said that the water that's built up on my phone or in my phone wanted me to make a super chat, so here we go. Yay super chat. Thank you so much, Gay Agenda. And then we've got Daniel M that says
they're a great supporter over on my channel too. They're the best.
Yeah. Daniel M says this snuck up on me, so I didn't get to leave a comment. What does it fucking matter to them that I exposed my child to? Also, I like their idea of having a drag show at the zoo.
I don't think that's what they meant.
Yeah, that's not what they meant, but that would be interesting. Can you imagine having like drag queens narrating each exhibit?
Oh, see, I was thinking, I took it a totally different direction. I was thinking like fucking gorillas that have strapped like full-on watermelons to their chest. That's what I had in mind.
Very different.
Slutty ass gorillas.
Slutty ass gorillas.
Someone
Next
in the chat said we should have a drag show at the Ark Encounter. I think you'd get murdered. Literally, like I think you would actually die trying.
I don't know about that. I think that they would probably definitely turn you away.
I'm not saying the Ark Encounter people. I'm saying that half that place is strapped, but half that place is strapped rednecks, and they associate anything that isn't cishet white male with pedophile, and I think they would just fucking murder you. Actually, I don't know. Are there metal detectors at the Ark Encounter? Maybe there's no guns.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think there's on average like 5 people there a day anyways now. So I think you'd be hard pressed to run into anybody other than staff.
They really should have put the work in to get that petting zoo, but I guess $500 billion in tax, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm maybe exaggerating, wasn't enough. Did you hear about that? That they couldn't do, they wanted a petting zoo. So there's this ark, and it's supposed to represent the ark that Noah built. But it's also a theme park, basically. And they wanted to put a petting zoo in, but they couldn't do it in a way where the smell wouldn't have been overpowering. They literally got defeated by like one of the most basic problems the Ark has. They got defeated by, they couldn't have a petting zoo.
They have an entire section where they explain how they handled the fecal matter.
Yeah, like a window that could not fit that amount of shit through it in a day. Yeah. It's like a little window is where it would have been tossed out. You'd had to have people running. You didn't need thousands of people to do it in the first place if you had enough space. No, I know their little silly thing.
There were donkeys we could pet. Wasn't it donkeys?
Well, yeah, there were 3 donkeys up in the Ark, but I mean that's a far cry from a petting zoo.
The sheer amount of shit that would have to go through that one hole that exit the Ark, because I know they have their whole way of how the shit got out of the pens, but then actually getting out, it's this like one small window. Like it would have to just be nonstop looking like it was having explosive diarrhea just out the port of the whole 40 days for the number of animals and the amount of shit. Like It would look like my ass when I forget to take pills for my lactose intolerance. Like that's what it would look like.
Thank you for that visual there.
I just don't know why they made the whole star shaped. That makes sense.
Atheist Drew says, I view using religion to groom kids as disgusting. Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like that's what they wanted parents to do, was to use religion to groom kids to be more religious.
Yep. And that's the fucking bullshit of it all too. They immediately, the moment sexuality occurs to a child, they take control of it. Religions do, especially fundamentalist ones, Christian ones, Mormon ones. The only sex talk I got from my parents, I was 10 or 11 years old. I was brought into what was called the Florida room or the sun room, or there's a bunch of different names for it. But we lived in Florida at the time, and there was a Florida room, which is basically a room that is sort of outside and inside at the same time. It's, it's got a ceiling and it's got a floor, but instead of walls, it's just screens on 3 walls, and then 1 wall is that attaches to the house. Right. And I'm brought out there because my parents had told us we're going to have the talk, and they've got their little like this swing in there. It's not cool. Like people are like a bench that swings, and they sit down, they give me the serious, and then they proceed to give me the talk about how masturbation is wrong and that I should not listen to anybody who says it's natural. There are going to be forces in the world that try to convince me it's okay to touch myself. That's the only sex talk I got from my parents. And I would have been 10 or 11. And it's the one that was basically mandated by our religion to have. And then what would proceed as soon as I turned 12 would be years of going to all kinds of FYEs, or was it FYEs for youth? Not FYE. No, that's the name of the EFY, especially for youth. Not the place that used to go buy CDs. That was FYE. EFY, especially for youth camps, where literally it's like, first of all, you're like a bunch of hormonal fucking like teenagers, 12, 13, 14 years old. You're meeting a lot of other Mormon kids. And so for me, I'm meeting a lot of other Mormon girls. You're experimenting with flirting for the first time. Your parents aren't around. So you're like really excited by this prospect of making girls giggle and all that sort of shit. And then they sit you all together, and some old fucking dude in his early 200s gets up at the thing and he's like, let's talk about why masturbation is also a violation of the law of chastity. Fucking, you want to talk about like grooming kids' sexuality against nature, telling kids that they are evil and won't get to the highest level of fucking heaven, or being able to have a family that is have a good family, that you'll destroy your family if you become addicted to masturbation and pornography. That's fucking grooming, my friend. Piece of shit. Not even really my friend. Fuck. Not you, John. The person the imaginary person I'm yelling at. Maybe it's my son again. I don't know.
I hope not. I agree with you with all of that. I get your frustration with that. Daniel M says, how horrible that people that they never met disrupts their life so much.
Yeah. It's all based on this straw man fake thing that they think exists, that if they allow other people to be themselves, somebody's going to come in their home and at gunpoint make their kids be gay or make their kids be drag queens. It's this that they're going to push it on and force it on, and it's just absurd. It's fucking absurd.
Yeah, I feel like in this case, the burglar would burst in, hold him at gunpoint, and be like, it's not going to lick itself.
Yikes.
That hamburglar.
Then just comes out with an ice cream.
Yeah.
It's cool. Burglar.
Oh, let's see. We already covered that one, but Elizabeth had another one. Elizabeth Richardson said their biggest sin from the Bible is really just wearing mixed fabrics.
They look like polyester queens, these two. That is not a compliment.
Next, we got Who's Your Buddy, who says, have fun explaining to your kid about koala fecal pap, which I don't know. Maybe I need to go and research koala fecal pap.
Koala fecal pap. I love koalas and I know quite a few things about it, but I'm trying to put this together. So koala fecal pap. Well, first of all, they only eat eucalyptus, so their poop smells kind of good. That's not true. That doesn't smell good at all. Pap. Are we referring to, is this somehow related to the fact that they all have chlamydia? Not all, but
no. When I Google search it, it comes up with an article that's titled, "Why do baby koalas eat their mother's poop?" So apparently they eat their mother's shit for the antibodies or something.
Got it. Yeah. That's pretty common in the animal kingdom. In fact, it happens in reverse a lot too. Mother dogs eat their baby dog's poop so that their baby dog doesn't have to go far from them, and they literally like lick their little. Anybody who's bred dogs knows this. Mother dogs lick their puppies' anuses to stimulate them to poop right into their mouths. So that's the animal kingdom.
That's a today I learned right there. Thank you for providing that aspect of the live show there, Jimmy.
Well, yeah. Did you know that doggy style does not represent the way dogs actually fuck? It only represents the beginning. That's another today you learned.
Interesting too.
I did a little bit of dog breeding in my past. Not proud of it. I don't support the breeding of dogs as an industry. But yeah, they so they initiate in that, and the penis enters the vagina, and then it swells up to the point that it sort of gets stuck in there, and then the male dog pulls one of the legs back over and turns around, all still inside, and they actually mate ass to ass.
New to me. I did not know that. Yeah. Although, I mean, I don't generally watch dogs fuck, so
yeah. Well, it's not about watching them fuck, but sometimes you walk outside and they're fucking and humping. The humping thing that people associate with doggy style is more often a thing that a dog is doing to dominate or something, because they're a little bit more methodical and slower when they do the initial mount to insert, because you actually don't want to be pumping when the swelling happens. So yeah,
okay.
Dogs mate butt to butt.
Butt to butt. Got it.
Yep. And you do not, if you come across two dogs doing that, you basically just want to accept, even if you're like, oh no, I don't want my dog to be pregnant, it would be a horrible idea to try to force them apart, because that knob is swollen up in her.
Yeah, just let him finish.
I will keep that in mind. Okay. Yeah. Jester, Lord of Fools.
Also, dog vaginas. I'm just kidding.
Jester, Lord of Fools.
Duck dicks? Because I'm ready with duck dick facts. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. They're kind of squirrely, aren't they?
Yeah. And cats have barbed penises. So that's.
Should we talk about whale dick now?
Yeah. Well, should we talk about whale dick? They come in gallons.
Who do you think I am?
Jester, Lord of Fools, says, I've seen zookeepers take the opportunity to give sex ed to groups of kids. So
that's when the koala chlamydia comes up.
Yeah.
Sad life.
Yeah. Daniel says, kid, dad, why is that elephant eating shit from the other elephant's ass? Dad, well, son, that's called a Texas chili bowl. What? I don't want to Urban Dictionary that particular thing.
Son, I'm glad you asked, because I am now going to tell you the story of your conception.
Casey said that's something that she's gonna have to clear off my browser history when I die.
Everyone knows already. If anything, it's going to be conspicuously missing.
Yeah. So Eka Driabu just sent a super chat. Thank you so much.
Can we get the name tags back up? I'm worried people will forget who I am. Thank you.
There you go, Xander.
Is it impossible to have both at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, never mind.
No, that's fine. It's a limitation of StreamYard. I know I've got.
Oh, I can take care of this. Actually, you go ahead and keep doing the chats, and I'll handle the. Yeah, you can take mine off. I can handle this.
So the gay agenda says, "Dear Bethany and whatever her other name, can we not attack me, please? I'm a nice person, I swear." You've come across as a very nice person there, gay agenda. I appreciate you.
Sorry, I'm still working on.
Oh no, that's fine. I thought I heard you talking about something. Anyways, Heather Brown says Jimmy and GE, his straight man, equals comedy gold.
You're right. So they're referring to a comedy. Comedy has theory, and the straight man is the person who you see it in TV a lot. In fact, the best example I think is Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Everybody in Always Philadelphia is the absurd character, and they bring in guests to be the straight man, to be the person that's like, what the fuck is wrong with this group of people? So the straight man is always the like correcting force. And then the other person is, fuck, there's a term for the other person. I'm just going to go with the clown. And in this scenario, I'm the clown, but that's not the correct word.
Well, I guess the straight one here would ironically be KC. She's normally the one that is correcting me on shit.
But yeah, between the two of you, sure. Well, it's not necessarily like literal like correcting on like where you're wrong. It's more of like a let's ground this back into
reality.
Yeah.
Someplace normal.
Yeah. Anyway,
Xander Crookshanks. There you go. Now, next we got Jester Lord of Fools saying, in an intimate, close relationship, this godly relationship sounds sexual to me, girls. And then Hoosier Bunny Buddy has a small correction for Xander. It rained for 40 days and nights, but they were on the ark for about a year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
you're right.
I mean,
you're right.
if you imagine a petting zoo is so many times smaller than, having every single fucking animal on the boat. The fact that a small petting zoo had a smell that was just too overpowering.
Right.
I mean, they can't continue to bullshit us for too much longer about this shit.
Oh, and yet 2,000 years they've been fine doing it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they can do it for much longer. I think time is not their problem.
Right. And then we finally got Lex is cool. Lex is cool. Says, I had a really nice 14-year-old Mormon girl in my section senior year. She had a boyfriend in band. We all stayed quiet about it. She gave me a golden flute ornament.
Yeah, I wouldn't commit somebody to being a total lost cause piece of shit Mormon until their 40s. And even then there's going to be some people who break out, but it's kind of like there's certain events that make it tougher. Like if somebody goes on their mission and comes back the normal amount of time, doesn't have to come back early because they keep getting caught masturbating or something like that, which happens. It's great. But anyway, those people, like, it's like now they've invested so much. There's a sunk cost problem for them where they feel like they can't leave because they'll have lost so much they've sunk in. But then again, a lot of ex-Mormons definitely have been leaving, or ex-missionary Mormons have been leaving the church a lot too. I don't know. There's lots of people who it's hard not to like because they're likable people, but then that they're Mormon and that fucks shit up. So like Lindsey Sterling is a Mormon and a practicing Mormon. And so you buy a ticket to a Lindsey Sterling concert and you probably have an amazing time, and 10% of the profit that went to her from your ticket sale went to the Mormon church and their fight against queer rights. It's tough. Mark Rober is an awesome YouTuber and one of the best engineering and scientific educators that probably exists. He the way he talks about things, he makes everything super interesting, and he's incredibly engaging, and he pays the Mormon church to fight queer rights. Like, it's, he's not writing that on the slip or anything. He's just paying his tithing, but it's
I didn't know he was Mormon.
I know, it sucks.
Well, because I guess the automatic assumption is is that somebody that's that intelligent couldn't be, or at least for me, I guess my assumption is somebody that intelligent couldn't be, Mormon because of how ridiculous Mormonism is. But that's preconception on my part.
He's also very pro-science and accepts things that are not popular to accept, even though you technically can. I mean, you can technically accept evolution, you can technically accept climate change and stuff, but you're going to suffer social consequences. However, there is now the level of fame where it's kind of like, in almost any religion, you get a get out of jail free card from everybody for doing things that typically you're not allowed. So Mark Rober's not going to get the social consequences when everybody's like, so you're rich and famous. Like, yeah, you're great. So whatever, we'll just let that go. Weird Al gets to be a member of the Church of Christ, which forbids pop music. And yet fucking, that's what his whole fucking, members of the Church of Christ can't listen to Weird Al. And yet Weird Al gets to be a member of the Church of Christ. So it's fucking, they're all weird hypocrites.
Yeah, that is religion. So we got Heather Brown who said straight man and funny man.
Yeah, that is correct. I think I think the funny man occurred to me and I was like, it can't just be funny man, right? That's not the phrase. It can't be. That's so obvious and silly, but it is straight man and funny man.
Yeah, Heather said, please tell GE they are a comedy duo. Each is a foil of the other. I know what foils are. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't really fill the straight man role because you laugh at my jokes. And the straight man role would be more, it could be maybe mildly amused, but would be more of like a, let's dial it back. Like it would almost be like after I make a joke about, sort of like I make a point and then a joke and it's absurd, where you would sort of be like, okay, but the real response, without being shitty, you don't have to be shitty to the funny man, but you can be like, but the real response would be blah, blah, blah. Though a lot of times people are shitty to the and that can be funny in its own right. But anyway.
Well, I mean, I guess I thought everything was funny. So it's hard for me to hide shit on my face.
Yeah.
But let's see. I do have some Skeptic Mafia comments to get through.
Let's do it.
So, okay.
I got 4 more hours in me, man.
Oh, okay. Fuck.
I'm having fun.
All right. Awesome. I'm glad that you're having fun and I'm not like forcing you to stay here or anything.
I'd have made an excuse by now. I'd have been like, oh, my AC's broken. Just some bullshit lie like that.
Here I go.
What people don't know is we had to reschedule because my AC broke. So
let's see. First up, we've got Michael W. Roble, who says, I wonder if their husbands have locked them in the bedroom so that they might enjoy a few moments of peace and quiet. After all, the Christian menfolk might want some alone time to contemplate and contextualize those heathen boys sexily prancing about in their revealing lingerie-like outfits. Bet the Bible studies in Texas were buzzing over this abomination. The comment that kids don't care who is dressed like a sexy yuck wild woman singing loud and funny songs or doing overacted dramatizations is absolutely correct. I've seen it for myself. Kids at a drag show just want to have a good time, and seeing adults acting strange, thus confirming their belief that all grown-ups are idiots. The only people who are traumatized are idiots like these two, although they might see their men showing a little too much interest in these drag queens.
The parts I heard you read just now, I agreed with.
Yeah. Oh, was I talking away from it so that you didn't hear some of it?
No. You were fine. I got distracted and I don't even remember by what. I swear I'm not on drugs. People are not going to agree. But this is not a drug thing. This is a You all have watched the last 4 years, the mental unraveling of a man. Those of you who have watched my channel, I should say. And now I'm just sort of at my peak. I'm just sort of, it's all just mush up there at this point with gravy.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. Next, we got Jason Kolisak, who says, yep, always figured drag queens were intended as mockery. More power to them. Maybe I missed the point. I don't think drag queens are necessarily meant as mockeries.
No, it more of caricatures. Mockeries are what people who there are some people who try to, I'm trying to think of the way to put it. There are pearl clutchers who have been trying to push that as their agenda, as it's almost like the same way TERFs try to act like trans women are an attack on womanhood. And so the characterization of the caricaturization of these women characters would be inherently sexist. Now, it is possible to put on a drag show that is sexist, that can't hide behind absurdism, but not a lot of incels put on drag shows, so it doesn't happen that often. Like an incel drag show would certainly be very offensive. I can just imagine like they just go up there with their fucking big fake tits on and just like, oh, I want to go find a man to treat me like shit. Like that would be the whole show would be them repeating that phrase in some way. Cause that's all of incel theory, that women only like guys that treat them badly. Why would they ever want a random act of kindness, like just a cupcake out of nowhere? I'm the nice fucking guy. By the way, that's what I think the height of love is when you just randomly get your partner a cupcake. But anyway, I'm the nice guy that's like, hello, my lady, in the DMs, and then I call her a cunt whore as soon as she doesn't fucking send me pictures of her titties back. I'm the nice one. Why is no one touching my pee-pee?
That's a perfect rendition of an incel there, Jimmy.
Thank you. I've studied their work.
Huh? Oh, Xander. Sorry, Xander. Got it.
All right, Jimmy?
Yeah, I accidentally did. There's Xander Crookshanks. Anyways, next up we've got Darren Wright, who says, "Oh, for fuck's sake, gonna tell my kids this was 2 of the band members of 4 non-blondes. Sorry, very obscure early 90s band reference. Lol. Anyway, the irony of them speaking about indoctrination and how it's child abuse is not surprising at all. Look, bitches, your God didn't give you blonde hair, but you insist on dyeing it. You see my point? I know it's not exactly a perfect comparison, but you obviously identify as blondes, even though that wasn't the color of your hair your God made you with." I don't know if they're really.
I'm just gonna politely suggest something, and I don't want anyone to take this as an insult. When a creator sends out a prompt and says we'll read your responses on air, keep it tweet length.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's not here for the long ones.
Yeah, no, yeah. So these they can get a bit longer, but I agree. Tweet length probably would be better as far as reading them out.
I will literally say, like, I've done a bunch of prompt things, and I'll be like, give us your story of this, and as best you can, keep it tweet length. Just keep it tweet length. That's all good, Yeah. And we can go for quantity over quality. I'll pretend that I think it's quality.
You?
Can I read the second half?
Sure.
Honestly, when my daughter came out as gay to me, this is what I imagine this person's voice sounds like. Gay to me, she was sort of like a Gilbert Gottfried. By the way, great person. I'm not saying this is a bad person.
Right.
I'm just kidding. I feel like the source material became serious and I didn't read ahead, and now I regret the voice. So let me please correct it now. Honestly, my daughter came out as gay. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Honestly, when my daughter came out as gay to me when she was 16, a long time ago, that was one of the most defining. Never mind. I don't want to do the reading. You do it.
Okay.
If I can't do voices, I don't want to do it. And I feel bad doing the voice on this one.
Okay. I'm sure that there will be another one where you can do it.
Yeah. I'll let you read this paragraph. I'm going to take a nap while you read it, and then I'll be back in 10 minutes or so when it's done.
Okay. That was one of the defining moments and launched me full steam ahead into my deconstruction. Me thinking that all-loving God knew my daughter from the womb and basically made her a lesbian and knew the torment and struggle she would go through in her high school years just didn't sit well with me. That was my full-on leaping off point. As I studied and researched and dug deeper, I realized it was all bullshit. So to sit here and watch these to just spew their hatred and bigotry all in the name of God just sickens me. These people are killing themselves because of this dribble that Girl Defined spews. They are in deep depression because of this bullshit, not because they don't believe. You two bimbos and what you believe are literally the reason for everything you were bitching about in the video when it comes to teen suicides, etc. Fuck off, rant over.
I just really feel like it would have undercut the seriousness of the message if I had done that whole thing as Stewie Griffin.
Oh.
These
Yeah.
people, sort of, there's very things that you're bitching about. Do you know, I haven't done Stewie long enough that I feel like I have to practice a little bit before I get it back. It's sort of in the news.
Is it? I cannot do I can't do voices other than hick redneck.
You nail that one though.
Yeah, I do.
It's almost like you're from the area. It's very,
I know.
It's crazy believable.
All right. So next is
hick rednecks.
Huh?
Can you do different hick rednecks?
Kind of like no. They're all the
Atheist
same.
Drew, I know that you're in the chat because you super chatted earlier. Look at him scroll your message and tell me you're not selfish. Am I allowed to roast your audience? Is that okay?
I mean, yeah, they'll. I think they could take it pretty well.
Atheist Drew, please become my patron. But Jesus Christ, my dude. Fucking God damn. What are we? Is that the entire fucking first Lord of the Rings book? What the fuck, my dude?
So I won't read all of Atheist Dream because we are pressing on like 3 hours here.
I got all night. Let's do it. And we're gonna read it. We have all fucking night.
We got all fucking night to read Lord of the Rings.
Fuck yeah, man.
Hey, are you gonna watch the new Lord of the Rings show on Prime?
Yeah, I mean, I want to, but I don't know if I don't know if I'll have time after we read Atheist Drew's thing. When's that? Is that next? Does it start next Saturday?
No.
I think we'll only be halfway through his comment by then.
Okay, Atheist Drew. I can't.
No, wait. When is it really?
Oh, it's out today, I believe. I think it got released today.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm looking forward to watching it on Thursday when we finish this damn message. Fuck yeah.
Oh, okay. Atheist Drew. I can't with these two. I just can't. These two C words need to pull their heads out of their God's arse and stop seeing everything that isn't church as perverse. These two are so far from what reality is to state that this is not helping the mental issues in this country when what tolerance and acceptance does is improve mental health. At the 313 mark.
Oh, I see now. The Atheist Drew was co-hosting.
Yeah. At the 313 mark, they hit the nail on the head. Yes, their minds are moldable. That is the whole point. We are trying to mold their minds to be more accepting and more tolerant instead of being backward HUA, if you know, religious zealots. These two talk about gender norms created by their God. Their God did not create anything. Gender roles are social constructs, not some plan handed down by the imaginary sky fairy. I know, but magic. It is
keep going. It's fine. I've pulled up a tutorial on how to play the violin, and I imagine I'll be a master by the time we're at the end. This is perfect for me. I've always wanted to learn.
Okay. It is almost as if these religious zealots suffer from the paranoid delusion of killers around every corner. Only theirs is a perversion around every corner. The good thing is that she's playing music for me.
The ironic thing is it's very good. The message is very good, and it's making points I wish I had made myself, but I didn't, so I don't care to hear it.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
Only theirs is perversion around every corner. The good thing is we have meds now to treat the paranoid delusion of thinking people are out to get you, or at the least they worked for me. But we still don't have any kind of treatment for religious zealotry BS that spreads faster than oil on ice, and they constantly try to impose their backward thinking on everyone within the boundaries of this mediocre country. Don't get me wrong, I love the US, but let's be real.
Atheist Drew in the chat says, tell him not to read it all. No fucking way. We are reading every goddamn... You think that now we're not going to read it all? You don't get to, but no way, buddy. It's every fucking word. I've come too far. It's happening, buddy.
Thank you so much for your comment, Drew.
I'd like to once again restate, it's all excellent. The comment is excellent. Bit long, but it's great. It's a great.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
I agree. We're at the very top right here. These people.
Can I take some of this?
Yeah, sure.
Should we turn it into, wait, what if never mind. I was going to try and turn it into a song. These people have such a fragile view of masculinity that thinking of men in anything other than the Marlboro man. Well, now I'm mad at you for a different reason. You put in a word that you didn't know I can't pronounce, and you didn't know that I was going to be on the show. But I can't say Marlboro man. How do you say it? Can you say it?
Marlboro.
But you got rid of the L.
Marlboro.
Marlboro man?
Yeah, I don't know.
Marlboro man. I think I got it. Marlboro. Oh, fuck that. Construct. How dare you? And missionary position with a woman just breaks them completely. Hey, you made a missionary position joke too. I did that earlier. I actually saw your comment earlier and I stole a ton of your points. As a gay man, some of the most masculine men that you meet on the street and would have no idea that they are gay are power bottoms. I am not a power bottom, but I am a masculine man, right? Please somebody say that.
Yeah,
but also,
you're masculine.
Queer as hell. You all saw the chest hair. I mean, the shorts aren't helping, but you saw the chest hair. Just an example from my own life. When I first came out to my family, my mother was having a house built, so I recommended a stonemason for her brick sidewalks. She wanted a mosaic type pattern, and I recommended a good electrician. We were visiting to build site one afternoon. Myself, my mother, my sister, and her adult daughter, my niece. This was before my mother decided I was on her God's hit list and proceeded to lie to extended family, telling them I died from AIDS. PSA, get tested every 6 months if you are active, even if married. And they all commented on how sexy Mickey was, carrying brick in his cut-off sleeve shirt, and that you would never know he was gay. To which my mother said, he just needs a good Christian woman, as if being gay was something curable by sex with a woman. So that weekend, I invited my sister and my niece to come to the drag show with me because I had a friend performing. They were excited and apprehensive. I'll let you scroll. So we were sitting there, drinks in hand, and I'm very invested in this story, by the way, and a little bit turned on by the brick guy. So we were sitting there, drinks in hand, and the performance is played out like usual. The next queen does a ballad of Am I the One by Beth Hart, one of my absolute favorite songs, and my sister and niece both commented on how beautiful she was and how she was a better looking woman than they are, and that they would never be able to walk in those heels. That's when I told them, that's Mickey, Mike. Wait, is it Mickey or Mikey?
Mikey.
That's Mikey, the brick guy. They were both flabbergasted and couldn't stop talking about how beautiful a woman he was and how masculine he was when he was laying brick. You should see him when he's laying pipe. Ayo! They were having a hard time reconciling what they saw, so I didn't have the heart to tell them about, oh, how well he laid pipe. My God, we're like the same person, Atheist Drew. We're through this encyclopedia long comment, I'm meeting a true friend, I think. I know, inappropriate, but hey, who else can you be inappropriate with than your friends, right? Back to the topic at hand. Thank you. It was a distraction. I'm kidding. I loved every moment of that story. Until we can get the religious zealotry under control in this country, and by under control, make no mistake, I really mean eliminated, then there will continue to be unnecessary preventable mental health issues in our country. Please do not make the mistake of thinking I am calling religion a mental illness. I am not. I am referring to the after effects of the bigotry and intolerance that holding to the religious zealotry causes. I do not in any way point to my early belief in a God as the cause of my mental illness. However, the hate, intolerance, and constant barrage by my IFB pastor father and indoctrinated family was that constantly told me that who I was and is an abomination to, wait, is that the right one? Is an abomination to some guy we've never met, but yet has ultimate control of our lives and futures, did in fact contribute to it. And yes, years later, I'm still working with professionals to completely get past it. That's almost word for word my same story. These two are part of that system of bigotry. No, I'm serious. The same issue of my mental illness was exacerbated by all the queer shaming and all the sexual shaming and all that shit.
I get it. It's just that we're on page 3 now.
Yeah. That's almost word for word for word for word for word for word of my story. Word for word. But these two are part of the system that I really hope, Atheist Drew, I really hope you don't feel at all insulted. I am totally teasing, and I hope you're laughing when I continue to make fun of this, because I'm going to keep doing it either way. These are two parts of that system of bigotry and intolerance that I would say that they are so deep in that they blithely continue to spread the ideals that cause the very issues they claim to be concerned about. Well, that is enough of the Lilliputian thoughts from me tonight. Is that what that word is?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all have a good night and good holiday coming up. I would also like to say thank you for the emails I've gotten from the other channel viewers. Yes, I'm aware my comments come off as incoherent sometimes, but I appreciate John powering through them nonetheless. He's a hero in my eyes. When commenting on social media, my brain tends to ramble, and I often tend to forget the use of punctuation. You would think that's strange for a published author, but even we are susceptible to being careless. What's blowing my mind right now is I said the thing about like, how dare you use a word I can't pronounce? And now you've anticipated that I was going to make fun of the length of your comment, and one of your final paragraphs, not the final one, even though you said goodbye, but one of your final paragraphs makes me look like a real asshole for making fun of the length of the comment. Hey peeps, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to all of GE's comments. If not, you are missing some good shit. But importantly, become a Skeptic Mafia member. Mafioso is the best deal as far as I'm concerned. But I know that John and KC appreciate whatever you can contribute. Just also wanted to say, John and KC, love you guys. Keep what you are doing. It's really important. You guys keep me sane. I'm sure the meds have something to do with it too. But I promise it really is, you guys. Keep the content coming, and it makes my day when I get a GE notification, even if Brocephus is part of the package. Yeah. I think you're right. Even authors can be susceptible to carelessness and run-on sentences. But anyway, I thought that was funny. Drew,
yeah.
You're my favorite person right now. I hope we become friends.
Yeah. Atheist Drew is a pretty good member there. Thank you so much there, Atheist Drew. Next, we've got Jonathan Nickel.
Atheist Drew hasn't said anything in a long time in the live chat. Now I'm worried about him.
Oh, I think they said that they had to pop out for a minute, and so that's why.
Take a bathroom break during their
yeah, they had to go eat dinner or something, maybe.
Oh, gotcha. couldn't stick around for the whole read, huh?
No,
go too long.
No. I think it was just ill-timed, maybe. All right. So now we've got Jonathan Nickel.
Wait, I'm gonna need to see a scroll on this. Johnny. I'm glad you're in the live chat. Let's do this. Ugh. Your comment is being read in the style of Donald Trump. We've got a video by Blonde and Blonder this week, and as usual, we have extreme Christians getting their panties in a knot, spitting their dummies out over the idea of gender bending.
Girl defined can't seem to cope. They're big losers. Okay, that's what everybody's been telling me. It's a girl defined, a couple of losers, a couple of bimbos. And you know what the worst they're saying out there? The worst they're saying is that they're crusty old bitches. Okay, girl defined can't seem to cope when somebody even pretends to define their self as a girl. Okay, we love girls. Okay, I've always loved girls. In fact, I famously have loved girls from a very young age, none more than my daughter. She's hot. To them, I say, get over it. If drag is a form of entertainment and nobody is at risk or harm in any way.
I do not have the physical voice cord fortitude to do your entire comment this way, though. At a certain point, I will run out of gas.
Okay, you want me to take over there, Jimmy?
Yeah, I just want to see if anybody in the thing is like, how come you're just letting Jimmy abuse your your people here? Jonathan says only 5 paragraphs.
Yeah. He also said nice recitation, Xander. Okay. To continue, they seem to think that drag is a modern concept. It isn't. In the UK, we have shows called pantomimes, usually performed in theaters around Christmas. These are family shows specifically aimed at young children. They are musical comedies that tell a story that is generally based around a fairy tale. Gender reversal is a common theme. The male lead is commonly played by a female, and the dame, a staple in most pantos, is a man dressed as a woman. Panto has been a fixture in our society for centuries, and its origins can be traced back to ancient Rome. You know, I was thinking that there was something in ancient Rome where, you know, men would dress up as women or something like that. I thought I remember that, but I can't remember.
You want to talk about like queer outfits? All of these fundamentalist Christians think that the founding fathers were practically like gods themselves, or at least religious figureheads of the United States founding fathers, of course I'm talking about. You ever see just like the outfits they would wear to duel? They're there to kill each other looking like they just freshly got railed in the ass. It's fucking wild.
Jester has a request. Xander, please come back once a month and at least roast my comments.
Done. I actually am like starting to worry that I hurt Atheist Drew's feelings, and I would hate to do that. I hope.
No, I doubt it, but we'll see. Anyways, to continue, I don't know if of anyone in this country who would view pantomime as, I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, but
you are
right. Okay, as some dangerous form of
fuck. I could have lied. I could have gotten you to start saying something ridiculous, like the rest of the comments. You're like, oh, pantomime? Yeah. It's actually pantomime. So
yeah. Yeah. So like I said before, during the stream, it kind of seems like both of the girl-defined girls and a lot of conservative Christians in general view the LGBTQ community as well as drag queens as just a nonstop like fellatio fest. Or nonstop sexualization of just everything, and so that, I mean, they equate it with sex and what they perceive as perversion, just because it's, you know, the Bible's icky about sex and shit.
I'll do the short paragraph as Charlie Day if you want.
Oh, okay.
I should point out, for the Americans, what you call a pacifier, we call a dummy in the UK. A toddler might spit their dummy out in order to have a cry or a tantrum, and that is what the term means. From what I see, it perfectly sums up their reaction. That's my easiest impression, because it's just what I sound like when I yell. Sort of undermines the anger when I'm sitting there, I'm like, you can't treat me that way. And they're like, are you the like really stupid guy who can't read from Always Sunny in Philadelphia? No, I'm serious.
All right. Whilst we don't have Drag Queen Story Hour over here, we do have other shows. RuPaul produces a UK equivalent of Drag Race, for example, and there is one program I would not recommend for children, Mrs. Brown's Boys is a comedy in which the central character, Mrs. Brown, is played by a man, Brandon O'Carroll. However, it is an adult comedy not suitable for kids. GE, if you can find an episode or a clip online, watch it. That show has me in stitches every time. As for the Drag Queen Story Hour, I don't see that as any more harmful as Panto. I think Girl Defined, like so many American Christians nowadays, are making a mountain out of the mother of all molehills. I agree.
Totes.
Yep. Next is Tomato Priestess Zumi.
Let's get a scroll.
Huh?
Let's get a scroll. I want to see. Is that the? Okay.
Yeah. There's an ASCII. But it says, "Oh, great, Girl Defined. The less I say about these people, the better. But I'll be here watching you put yourself through this torture fest. The least I can do, though, is post some ASCII. So here it goes, and it's are you kidding me?
That's cool.
Yeah, the Tomato Priestess Zumi always has the best ASCII art. They've actually done ASCII art of me before.
They've never done any of me, but fucking whatever. You call yourself a fan. I mean, you don't, but
because you know what they say, roses are red, shit is brown, so shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down.
Hey, Atheist Drew might add a long comment, but at least he didn't make us read poetry.
Anyway, y'all know what to do. That's right. Lick the like buttons and all the other buttons surrounding it. And Casey is always right, especially when she's wrong. And if you fuck you, low glucose, especially when she's wrong. And if you want to go ahead and join the Skeptic Mafia, or I'll personally lick you. Anyways, good night and exit stage right. Oops, that rhymed.
Do you want a second to eat a Snickers?
Oh, okay. Apparently, I've got some chocolate here. It's not that bad off.
I have so much diabetic family, and I'm like, I don't want you to. We've got hours left of this thing, man. You got to maintain.
No, we've got one comment left. That is apparently another novel.
It's all right.
Drew's book reviews is next up. Hello, fellow.
I'm trying to remember what other impressions I do. I on the spot, I never can do it. I need to work on my Jordan Peterson, but the only Peterson I do anymore is just going, up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who. His voice has changed in the last few years, because I used to get into Peterson by doing Kermit the Frog. I would do Kermit the Frog here, and then you sort of bring it down, and now you're in old Jordan Peterson territory. Clean your room, young man, and do the. But now it's become so raspy and defeated and drugged out by benzos, where it's just up yours, woke moralist. I'm devolving into the character from The Simpsons. Here's your popcorn, Mr. Simpson. Up yours, woke moralists.
Okay, let's see, Drew. Sorry to move on.
How dare you?
How dare, yeah. Hello, fellow heathens. I think I did not get to leaving a comment on last week's video since I am on vacation right now, so I thought I'd better do so while my amazing wife, Marianne, and the kids are still sleeping.
What'd you do, Drew? You did something wrong. Why'd you slip in amazing wife, Marianne? What'd you do? What are you trying to make up for?
I mean, probably nothing. I mean, that's just who Drew is.
Why do I need to know she's amazing? Is what something.
Well, I think he wanted everybody to know that his wife is amazing.
That's a dangerous game you're playing, because now I probably just going to try and steal your wife. She's that amazing. Fucking like, oh, did you hear about Drew's wife? She's the best. How do we kill Drew?
I'm sure there's at least one person that's not thinking that.
I doubt it. If incels have taught me anything, and they haven't, That's all I wanted to say. Is if incels have taught me anything. They don't have anything to teach anybody.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you. Huh?
It's like you know that they're bad in bed, but I suspect incels are also bad at masturbating, and that's just sad and low.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole comment.
Okay.
You don't imagine that like they can't even satisfy themselves, and that's why they're so upset. They're like, I gotta find somebody to do this for me. I'm not doing it right. I don't know what the fuck I'm down there mashing it. Fucking acting like I treat my dick like it's a potato masher. That's what I'm doing. Is that the wrong technique? Should I have used a ricer? I did the
cheese grater.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, my first masturbation technique kind of was like a cheese grater. Nothing was getting scraped off, but when I was first discovering it, I would be in the bath, and it'd be like, imagine these two fingers are my dick, which is very, very kind to my dick. We'll just make it one. We'll just make it one, and we'll make it this one. This was my initial technique. Like this, the tip, and then it was just. I was treating my dick like a clit. Not well, but that's the way people try at first when they first start fingering. Just mash and just spin and go as fast as you can. A lot of people think speed is the name of the game with the clit. It's not. It's not, y'all. You're bad at it. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here is I think incels are probably bad at jerking off. You know what's weird is a lot of lesbians tell me like most lesbians are pretty bad at fingering too. And you would think like, you know exactly how to do it. It's what works on you. What works on them. How is it? You can not only do you have the ability to practice any time, why would you do anything else? God damn.
Well, so maybe what works on them isn't what works on their partner.
No, I think it's what my understanding is that so I've had this conversation with many lesbians, and they're like, what's weird is so many other lesbians think that you want to be like finger fucked hard, but they never want that. There's a lot of finger fucking going on out there, and it's not that there's not a place for finger fucking, but that's more of a butt thing to me anyway. For me anyway.
Okay.
I can't even find my clit. So don't ask me. You should not have Xander Crookshanks back on.
I love Xander Crookshanks. Okay. So continuing with Drew's comment. Hope you all have been having a great week. I know our family has, watching the kids screaming and scared out of their minds on roller coasters at Galaxyland and declaring, oh my God, that's so scary. Can we do it again? And freaking out about going down giant water slides at the water park, then screaming, that was the best thing ever, is so worth it. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like it would be awesome to do. We're actually going out to San Francisco for our vacation. So,
no, it is true. Go back and watch. That. I think you'll enjoy the rest of my commentary on your comment. I really do. Go back and watch it for sure. And by the way, not a single lesbian has challenged me on what I said so far. And I imagine that your audience is like mostly lesbians. So I feel
Why
like
would you
that's
assume that
of itself. You know, I just get the vibe.
That's the vibe.
Yeah, I think that you are probably rather iconic in lesbian circles. Look, I'm sorry, atheist engineer. That's a lesbian title, bud. That's not what a cis straight man does. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just making this up as I go.
Okay. I'm like, what?
I'll tell you what, if I was on a lesbian app, I would expect atheist engineer to be like, I know you're not called atheist engineer. I'm more using the descriptor.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been on lesbian apps. For some reason I got kicked off. It's not even my persona or my profile. It's all the tangents I go on in the DMs. My first question is always, did you notice that other lesbians don't know how to finger? Why are they finger fucking all the time? Gets reported a lot.
Yeah, I imagine so. That's gotta be hard for you. Okay.
Hey, you know how to do a poll in the live chat?
Yeah.
Just for kicks and giggles to find out, will you just poll, are you a lesbian? Yes or no?
It's okay.
I'm sure nobody will lie.
Can we have an option that's like, are we half lesbian? Is there a half lesbian option?
Here, I'll help you out.
Bisexuality is not real. Come on.
Okay, well then, fine.
He said, knowing full well after this, he's going to message flirtatious messages to a woman he's speaking to, but also watch gay porn. That's what my night looks like.
Okay, so I put up the poll for anybody that wants to vote in the poll.
Nobody lie.
Obviously not.
No. I didn't click yes.
All right, so let's get back to Drew's comment. But anyway, back to the video comments. This is all based on the video title I've not watched. Might catch on the replay. Are drag queens a mockery of God's design? Well, would that not require a god to exist in the first place? But even if a god does exist, how does being a drag queen make a mockery of that? Would this god not have created these individuals the way that they are? And if so, then isn't that God's design? This is not, excuse me. This is not to say that someone is born a drag queen by any means, but it seems to me that most drag queens tend to be in the LGBTQ spectrum, which of course is perfectly fine and good. All the power to them. At least I have never heard of any straight cisgendered man being a drag queen, but I could be wrong, and I'm sure there is one somewhere out there. Speaking of God's design, I think that making a mockery of such a flawed design is perfectly valid. Let's face it, our bodies are not exactly a perfect design, subject to all kinds of problems, disease easily broken, does not heal well on its own when damaged, etc. So if God designed it all, at least we have someone to blame when this flawed design fails in so many ways. So I guess there is that. Lol. Anyways, heathens, until next time, keep on reading.
41% have said half lesbian, and the other half is mellow yellow. They call it mellow yellow. Black is Cool says, I would date a masked lesbian, though. God, me and you both. But turns out they're not interested in dudes lesbians. That's the problem. That's the problem with, let's do here's Jimmy's segment called The Problem with Lesbian on Godless Engineer's channel. The problem with lesbianism, they don't even like dudes. That's it. What? Did we lose subscribers?
I don't think so.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Actually, we just got pushed over the 58,100 spot. So, I'm looking at about, 25 more years before I hit 100K. So that's cool.
Nah. It's not great anyway. I feel like everybody I talk to YouTube lately, I'm just like, it sucks, man. Don't do it. It's the worst. So on the one hand, I want to be like supportive and be like, yeah, man, no, you'll get to 100K before, but then I'm also like, it's all hell after that.
We want the button. Is what
button,
we want.
yeah.
The button.
Yeah. I've got an extra one. You can have it.
What?
Yeah, both. Fucking just cross my name out. Fuck it.
Yeah, I've got a Dremel tool. I'll just, erase it.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Anyways, Xander, it was great having you on the show today. Really appreciate you being here to.
Is it over?
Yeah, that was all.
What am I gonna do with 3 hours?
Probably masturbate.
Okay, that's a good plan. That's good. That's solid. That's a solid plan. That's fucking good plan. I'm I'm gonna stuff 2 sponges into a flashlight's like shell and practice finger fucking.
Okay.
In case I ever meet the lesbian that's into me, you know. This episode was very problematic.
Was it? You think it's gonna get through review?
What?
You think it's gonna get through review?
Yeah, because we were fine the first 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, is that all they look at?
You think they go further than that? They don't got time, these people. They have to go around and demonetize queer content and promote alt-right shit.
Well, it kind of seems like that, you know, they would probably demonetize this then. I don't know. Anyways, they probably have some automated tool that like automatically flags it as like, this is problematic because it talks about dick.
Yeah, I think it's going down because the facial recognition can see that my face thinks dicks are yummy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask Kent Hovind, I'm a pervert that likes dicks, so you know maybe I've got a dick face too.
That's sort of equivocation. I also think you're a pervert who likes dicks, just in a different way. You know? First of all, I've never met a straight guy who didn't like his dick.
That's a good point.
And then, you know, there's porn dicks. It's not like they're going around just going like, oh, you know, the dick doesn't matter in porn. It's fucking, there's a whole industry of straight men just pushing the bigger the better. I want it to look like an arm. Which is a weird thing to put into the search bar, but I'm going to try it later.
Is that you're going to go to Pornhub and be like a dick that looks like an arm?
Jimmy, I have a mini swamp cooler. You can figure out what to do for 3 hours. I'm not sure I can attach the swamp cooler to what I'm going to do for 3 hours.
Well, anyways, there's Xander. Thank you so much for joining me to respond to the Girl Defined video. I was so excited when you said that you would come on. You know, all in,
but not anymore.
No. no. I still very much appreciate.
I was looking so much forward to it, and then, I mean, this is what I got.
Yeah,
that's what you meant.
No. Yeah, we got to see your legs and chest hair. Yeah, your legs, chest hair, and then you.
Oh no, my feet! I accidentally put the foot up. Look at these. These are the calves of a godless person.
A godless person.
a lot of bug bites.
Yeah.
Looking like I could use some melanin.
All right. Well, it was great. It was great. You know, going through this video with you. No. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and go. Everybody, make sure that you have a great weekend. Tune in next week here on the channel. We've got PragerU telling you that you should definitely indoctrinate your kids. So we got that, and then we're gonna have a discussion on history and how to do history. What's the criteria for proving that some event or some person existed in history? We do have a late. Yeah, there's a member chat. Jimmy is effing fucking funny as hell.
Thank you.
So everybody appreciates your comedy.
It's the only thing that matters to me anymore.
Yeah. Sorry for the short poll there at the end. We should have had it up earlier, but we ended up with most people not being a lesbian, or they're at least half lesbian, whatever that might be. Huh?
Wait.
Lesbian, and 50% are either half lesbian or lesbian.
Yeah. So there's mostly people. What I wanted to find out is first poll the audience, find out how many of these people would conceivably be getting fingered by other women, and I want to know if it's not happening right. I want to know what percentage of lesbians are good at fingering.
I feel like maybe asking a lesbian magazine might render.
They lie. You know, Big Lesbian, that industry. Big Lesbian corporate. You want me to ask them about fingering? They think they know how to finger. They're sitting there all day fucking. They think I can't. Don't get me started on big corporate lesbian. Jesus Christ. Fucking capitalism. That's, you know what the problem with lesbianism is? Capitalism.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me, Jimmy, are you going to go and see that gay rom-com coming out, the Bros?
I've only just heard about it, but I'm already a hard yes.
Hard yes?
Hard yes. I am a stiff yes.
Well, the reason why it reminded me of it, because there's apparently a scene in it where there's like a corporate meeting and they're talking about this giant sperm whale like exhibit. And so the person making, that's giving the presentation is like, what if we replace this with a big lesbian?
Fucking,
it's pretty funny.
As atheist YouTubers, we're constantly having to get on Zoom calls with George Soros, and they're constantly trying to push big lesbians onto my channel all the time, and it's just like I can't win with these people.
Really, because the only people that I get contacting me are either the established titles people that want to turn you into a lord or lady of Scotland, and then Ridge wallets. Yeah.
I wear plaid and leather. I've given my contribution to lesbianism. Okay. Fucking look at my haircut. Are you shitting me? I need more lesbian imagery on my channel with this haircut. Jesus Christ.
Is there a lesbian haircut? That's your haircut, huh?
Maybe. All I know is I shared publicly to Instagram, but though I'm sure the story is retired, but I shared my what I've been listening to recently playlist on Spotify. And I would say a good summary is that I have the music taste of a 2010 17-year-old lesbian.
I don't know what that would look like, but okay.
You know what it would look like.
Do I?
I don't know. The Flowbots. I don't know.
Flowbots.
Panic at the Disco. Fall Out Boy.
Michelle Branch is that?
It's Fall Out Boy part of that? Because I mean, I used to listen to Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
Michelle Branch.
I got real emo. There's no Melanie Martinez on there, though there would have been in the past, but I understand she's been canceled for something. And I didn't have the energy to deal with putting that on the playlist and then people being like, Jimmy, your playlist is problematic.
Yeah.
It's funny because I've given so much shit to Drew and his comment was my favorite. And now I'm giving shit to lesbians. And those are like the only people I like.
Yeah.
Fuck every other group. I'm here for lesbians. Ride or die.
Ride or die with lesbians. Got it.
But big corporate lesbian. Fuck that.
A finger ride. Isn't that right there, Jimmy?
That's right. Fucking right.
Anyways, we're going to head on out. Y'all have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week with all of our shenanigans then.
I guess we're leaving despite my best efforts.
Bye, everybody. Oh, yeah, don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.